This may seem a little dated because we're kind of off the Breadtuber arc, if that's what you want to call it, but I saw this video recommended by Rob's Media called Why I Hate Breadtubers, and I thought this would be a pretty interesting video to take a look at. Now, obviously, Breadtube is a very wide genre, but maybe there needs to be a little bit of explanation for what Breadtube actually is, okay? So what Breadtube is Breadtube is a genre of YouTube, mostly made up of, I'd say actually entirely made up of leftist or socialist creators, some communists, ranging from that kind of perspective that's farther left than, the typical lib, or whatever you want to call them, right? Why is it called that? I thought it was because of, like, the bread lines meme and, the Soviet Union. Apparently that's not it. But essentially it just means somebody who is, like, relatively left-leaning politically who makes YouTube videos. Some big names that would be included there will be, like, ContraPoints, who I guess probably started Breadtube, who's a pretty big content creator. H Bomber Guy, who also is a pretty big content creator. These are some of the biggest names, but obviously I've covered a lot of these people before, like Noah Samson. I covered during the drama that he had with Think Before You Sleep regarding Illymation, where Illymation had made a video that was then criticized and made fun of a lot by Think Before You Sleep. The video was then encouraged to be mass flagged, and then as a result, Think Before You Sleep made another video about it. Noah Samson made a video about it. It was a whole autistic drama. Another example would probably be like Ethan is Online or Nick is Not Green. These guys are Breadtubers, I would say. So they're people I covered. They're like more commentary focused. They're less like explicitly deeply political, but these are people I've covered. In Praise of Shadows, another great example. The guy who came for our boy Wendigoon. All right, but there's a lot of different Breadtubers I've covered over my time, all right, on the internet. And I thought that it would be fun to take a look at this video and see this. This video has a lot of views, by the way. A lot of views. Ryan Beard, one of the YouTubers mentioned, apparently says, hey, thanks for the shout out. Ryan Beard, Mr. Beard, pretty big creator. I feel like I've shit on him before. I honestly don't remember what for, but this guy, Ryan Beard, is another Breadtube type guy that exists out there. And this video seems to be covering a lot of common gripes people have with Breadtubers. It's gotten a very large amount of views, so I thought it'd be interesting to take a look at it. The heck is a Breadtuber? I just explained it.
Bruh.
Breadtube, a loose and informal group of online content creators who create video content, including video essays and live streams, from socialist, social democratic, communist, anarchist, and other left-wing perspectives. I have been covering some of the antics from Breadtube over the past year, and I think now is the perfect time I do one big video going over my issues with these people. 6 issues to be exact, starting with 1. They're fake nice guys. A lot of these Breadtubers build a persona revolving around them being wholesome and empathetic to those around them. However, there are many times where the mask slips, and their true colors come out. Many are just as hateful as the people they criticize. The only difference is that they are much less self-aware and act two-faced. This also makes them morally inconsistent, which will be a common theme throughout this video. The most widespread example of this is how these creators align themselves with the body positivity movement, yet at every opportune moment, they'll make fun of someone's physical attributes. And I think it's fine to make fun of a public figure's appearance. My problem is the hypocrisy.
This is a consistent thing you see for sure, very consistently. Like, I remember Ethan is Online talking about body positivity and like weight positivity and how important that is. And then like the next day, he was like calling this guy like a loser, calling him fat. At one point he was like, you're literally balding, which is kind of funny coming from Ethan. But yeah, that is a relatively common thing you do see. And I think the reason why is because you see this kind of this kind of talking point within this community that like it's okay to be a hypocrite to people we don't like or people who are right wing. There's this big saying that got popular back in the day a few years ago among Breadtubers, among Breadtube streamers, and it was this idea that there are no bad tactics, only bad targets. Meaning you don't have to be consistent with your beliefs. What matters is that you're effective with your actions and the way you spread your beliefs. So it's okay to betray your own principles and beliefs as long as it's getting you closer to where you need to be. I mean, this is something that Vosh himself said, right? Like Vosh said, he doesn't care about misinformation. He doesn't care about lies being spread online. As long as those lies benefit his political cause, it does not matter to him. The truth is not important, which is pretty, I would say cringe. I think it's important to care about the truth. And I also think that, if you build an audience or, more broadly, if you build like a political movement off of lies, you eventually will cause it to implode and crumble off of those lies in the future. It will be a very ugly explosion. So I think generally it's bad to be dishonest, not only for because honesty is the right thing to do. To get at the truth of the situation is the right thing to do intrinsically. But on top of that, also, you don't benefit yourself in the long term by lying. It will eventually become a problem. It's dangerous when 90% of people don't fact check what they hear. Yeah, for sure. Well, the thing is, for a lot of YouTubers, or a lot of rather YouTube viewers, This isn't unique to BreadTube, by the way. This happens on both sides 1000% of the time, all the time. People just want to hear what they want to hear, right? The truth to a lot of political people kind of doesn't matter, which is kind of disgusting. I don't like that. But the truth doesn't really matter. What matters is how you can take the facts and shape it to fit your worldview, how you can mold it to fit your worldview. And this was a very pervasive thing within a lot of BreadTube channels. Now, to their credit, you know, some of the biggest people in this community, let's say H Bomber guy, I haven't seen him directly lie about anyone as far as I know. ContraPoints, I've seen some good ContraPoints videos that I was like, oh, these are pretty good. You know, this is fine. I think ContraPoints made a video a few years ago about incels, and I remember watching it being like, huh, it's actually pretty good, because instead of demonizing these guys, she's like extending a hand in empathy to them and like trying to understand them instead of just villainizing them. But that's not the case across the board for a lot of these smaller people who it seems like the perspectives and tactics are kind of lost on them. To a regular YouTube viewer, going and finding someone who agrees with them is what they think a fact check is. Absolutely.
My favorite case of this is with Jake Doolittle, who's made numerous videos on this topic. He spends half of his Fatspo video criticizing a 16-year-old girl with an eating disorder for saying mean things about fat people. He could have literally picked anybody else, but okay.
For the longest time, I honestly thought that this guy was Ethan Is Online. I thought they were the same person. I genuinely didn't know that they were different people, which I assume probably happens to me. People probably think that I'm a different guy on YouTube. If you just find another generic-looking white dude with brown hair and shitty facial hair, they probably would think it's me. But I literally saw him and I saw Ethan, and I thought they were the same person for like years. No, they're not the same person, dude. This is not Ethan Is Online. This is a different guy. This is actually a different guy. It's like there's like these. It's like a phenotype. It's like an archetype. There is an archetype of the cringe edgy YouTuber, which I guess is me, and there's an archetype of the cringe anti-edgy leftist YouTuber, which is this thing, whatever it is.
Okay. He then made a video on Orange Peanut, a troll YouTuber who's made numerous videos goofing on fat acceptance TikTokers. This video from Jake ruffles some feathers, because many of his criticism of Peanut is just him making fun of his appearance and his stutter.
Like, I understand that this guy's accepting of his, I don't know, armpit bruises. I agree. Maybe he could tell us how he's so confident in his small build. What's it like being 5'1"?
Yes, they do. I've went through a bulk and a cut cycle. When I was bulking, I got very big because I ate a lot. And when
Why do you say yes they do like that?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
yes, they do. I
Yes,
went
they
through
do.
a bulk and a cut.
You know, making fun of my speech isn't very woke of you. It's not very politically correct.
Isaac Butterfield looks like Dank Pod's lost conservative Kiwi twin. Isaac Butterfield? Who is that? Who is that? Who is that? Who is that? Isaac Butterfield. Oh, this guy? I don't know a lot about who this guy is, to be honest with you. Dank Pods? Who is Dank Pods? And what does he look like? Dank Pod's face? Oh, they do kind of look alike. I could see that, yeah. For sure. They actually do look a little bit similar. It doesn't seem like he cares about politically correct shit. He just uses it as a weapon. Well, yeah, like I said, there's no bad tactics, only bad targets. So, like, principles matter when they're applied to other people, but when they're applied to you, it just doesn't matter. Ultimately, I think that insulting people's appearance is fine. It's funny. Obviously, I don't really care about that, you know. YouTube TOS has become more strict on that lately, so you can't go as hard as you used to be able to. But, you know, there's a time and place for it. I don't really care. I think it's fine. But I will say that, like, a lot of these guys who try to posture themselves as kind of like more intellectual creators are like above others, you know, they're smarter. It is kind of funny to see them resort to just personal attacks when they have nothing else to say, because you can't, you know, I don't know a lot about this orange guy, whoever the fuck he is, Orange Peanut, but he seemed relatively chill and reasonable in whatever video he was making. But, you know, ultimately the response a lot of the times is just always going to be like, oh, well, this guy looks fucking weird, right? That's just going to be it, which is fine in tandem with actual criticism, but I've seen a lot of Breadtubers not have the actual criticism.
This is the exact same thing that Nick Is Not Green did. He made fun of my stutter. I don't know why, but all these people who preach like acceptance, political correctness, wokeness, they do the same things at the end of the day. It's just,
Well, it's because you're not a leftist. You're not a Breadtuber, so, you know, you're fair game, bro. That's why. You simply didn't understand their high IQ perspective.
they only do it when it benefits them and they know their audience is gonna like it. Everybody is a piece of shit at the end of the day. It's just a matter of how.
As Peanut just said, Nick Is Not Green did the same thing, while also discussing body positivity and acceptance.
I'm not forcing women to talk about anything, and as far as boobs go, we like boobs. We don't talk about them for 3 hours straight.
Both of these guys will get ratioed in the comments, because their more normal fans hate it when they do this crap. Though Jake turned off the comments and edited out part of the video that made him look bad, that being the weird consent comment.
There's a possibility that you can't do certain things, like bench an unconsenting girl, right, Orange Peanut?
What?
You want to repeat that one?
What?
Consenting.
Comment.
There's a possibility that you can't do certain things, like bench an unconsenting girl.
Bench an unconsenting girl. What is he talking about? Bench an unconsenting girl? What? Why even bring that up? Did he bench pressing a girl? Is that what he's talking about? What? I don't understand. Is he bench pressing women against their will? What does that even mean? Yeah, I don't know what that means. Is he just implying that he's like a B guy or something for no reason? Is that what he's doing? I don't get it.
Right, Orange Peanut?
Huh? You want to repeat that one for me, Jake? We went from nice, lighthearted roasts about appearances and background and content to all of a sudden you're accusing me of not caring about consent of girls? What the fuck is wrong with you? No, genuinely.
Again, there's that mask slip. Another prominent individual you'll see in this video as Ethan is online, who does this shit all the time. He commonly mocks others' appearances despite pushing against that.
If I described to you a balding white man with a podcast who peaked in high school, you'd probably be able to perfectly capture exactly,
To be honest, it's this guy. That's what I would imagine this.
what this man looks like. Sorry to inject him into your head. Why does he look like that? Why are his eyes yellow like a...
To be honest, the guy he's calling out just looks normal. Like, he just looks like a normal, like, white dude that you would just see on the street. I don't really get it.
Sith Lord? Why does he feel like he was built in Detroit?
Like, where do these people get off on making fun of other people's appearances? I really don't get it. It's pretty confusing to me. Like, if you're gonna be, you know, a guy who calls out other people's appearances, you can do it. You don't even have to be particularly good looking to do it. But obviously you're going to get the clap back of like, bro, you're fat, you don't exercise, you look weird, right? Like, obviously you're going to see that kind of response. So it is kind of perplexing to me that this is like even a position someone like Ethan would take when he doesn't seem to care about his appearance that much, at least in these clips.
Detroit become human. Who is this man? If he shaved everything but his mustache, he would look scary. He would look frightening.
I feel like he just looks like a normal dude. I feel like this guy up here looks like a normal guy. Is this Isaac Butterfield? I don't know a lot about this guy, but does he look fucked up or something? Like, he just has a big beard. He has like a Viking beard.
Beard is giving Easter Island silhouette. Yeah, he does look like it. Someone point out he looks like from his profile, he looks like a crescent moon.
Yet when his appearance is criticized, he throws a hissy fit.
Yeah.
I'm a little overweight. I don't like how it feels.
So do something about it.
Bruh. The clips are too good on that one, man. Literally fucking shitting on this guy who looks relatively normal, and you're like, well, I'm kind of fat. I mean, I don't think people call me fat. Like, it's not cool. It's like, bruh. Come on, man. Ethan is a woman now? Oh, my bad. Well, we're talking about Ethan when she was a guy, so, you know, what am I supposed to do here?
I am, asshole. It's really frustrating that your fucking audience keeps commenting that shit when I do. I used to be heavier, dickhead, but it's, you know, you don't fucking change overnight.
On me, Ethan. Now you're the one getting mad.
You literally were just like, do something about it. Fuck off, asshole.
Why is he so sensitive about it? Also, like this, I think I just hate the smugness. I think part of the reason people hate a lot of these guys is just how smug they are. They don't sound like real people. They sound like they're talking down to everyone they've ever talked to. Even when they're being sensitive, they're like, hey man, it's actually not, hey man, that's not cool. Hey man, it's actually not cool to make fun of people's appearances. Did you know that? Meanwhile, yesterday he was like calling someone a fucking ape or something. Like, come on, man. Come on.
It's mean. You're mean. When you talk about weight shit, you're mean, and I don't like it.
By the way, this dude flat out lied. He looked like this when he started YouTube. Noah Samson is another Breadtuber I've covered before, who's also made fun of people's appearances and mannerisms. But there are even bigger examples of this dude being two-faced. He definitely portrays himself as a calm, understanding individual, just sticking up for disenfranchised groups. But this moral high ground he stands on is just for show. On Twitter, he's made multiple death threats, though if asked, he'll just explain it as jokes like they always do. First is after he lost a debate to Vosh, with him liking a tweet where someone wanted Vosh to be put down like a dog.
He needs to be put down like a dog. At least now I know I can effortlessly beat the racism allegations by reminding people I fucked black women. Jeez. This is just a cesspit of cancer. Dude, every account, every person in this image is just like, this entire community of people. Vosh wrecked him. Yeah, Vosh did recommend a debate, dude. That's pretty bad. I think to the point where I don't think that Noah does live stream appearances anymore. Because I remember during the In Praise of Shadows drama, I had asked him, like, you want to come on my stream? And he was like, no, I don't do streams. I don't do debates. And I was like, thinking about, like, why is that? I mean, to be clear, I don't even necessarily fault him for not doing stream appearances after the Vosh thing, because that was kind of bad. But I'm pretty sure Vosh debated him, and it was bad to the point that I think Noah took down his video for a bit and then put it back up eventually. But it is kind of funny to see Noah, like, for example, he took down the video and then ended up putting it back up. Meanwhile, in his videos, he's a relatively calm guy. Like, he's pretty chill. But then on Twitter, he would just go schizo now and then, which I assume is why he doesn't tweet anymore. It's interesting because I actually saw him on a podcast that I listen to now and then. J-Reg has a podcast with Art Chad, and they had a convo with Noah Samson. When I listened to him in that format, I actually was like, I kind of like this guy. When I was listening to him, I was like, oh, He's kind of fine. Like, he's like, I was like, you know, he's not saying anything crazy. He seems relatively reasonable. Like, I don't hate anything he's saying. It's whatever. But then once in a while, I'll just get a clip of him where I'm like, that fucking sucks. That fucking sucks. Like, when he called Chud Logic, I was like, really? And I know he, like, walked that back recently. He's kind of fine. I didn't mean it like that. But, I mean, hey, not to be gay, but I would have sex with Noah Samson if I was. But that being said, I do think Noah is probably somebody who, despite the fact that, you know, maybe in a podcast setting I could honestly get along with him because he seemed kind of chill. Realistically, he does enough shit that I'm like, oh man, that sucks. Honestly, you know what would be pretty interesting? Honestly, I feel like a combo with Noah Samson would probably be interesting. I wonder if I could like convince him out of some of his positions. Maybe he could convince me out of some of mine. I don't know. Maybe it could be good. I agree with you, Tom, not on the sex thing, but he was chilling horseshoe theory. Yeah, he sounded fine there. This J-Reg and Art Chad's podcast, he sounded fine. I was like, whatever. I was kind of hoping it was like a redemption arc, and then he like called Chud Logic. I was like, all right, well, maybe it's over.
Then, during the Super Mega drama, Noah wanted Chud Logic to be melted into a large cast iron cauldron. And by the way, the part is
pedo freak streamers like this one should be rounded up and melted into a large cast iron cauldron. Jesus, just leave out the first word, and it's kind of funny. Like, leave out the first word, and it's kind of like whatever. But you just had to include the accusation with no basis whatsoever, right? Didn't know you were a J-Rig fan. Did you watch Centricide? Yeah, back in the day I did watch, I don't know about all of them, but I watched a large amount of those videos and they were good. Actually, this is a pretty funny piece of lore about me. So I know J-Rig knows Noah Samson, and J-Rig asked me to be in this video where he, against both of our wills, or maybe Noah knew and I didn't know. I don't know. But he made it so that we were in a video collaboratively, and I didn't even realize it. Like, I'm in the same video as Noah Samson, and I didn't even realize it. You can literally see in the comments, yes, I just made this to get Turkey Tom and Noah Samson to collab. Exactly how he harassed this woman, and now many other women are coming forward with similar experiences, calling him creepy and weird.
Normally, I would never agree with someone like Turkey Tom, but in this case, I do.
Okay, so Noah did know ahead of time. He did know. This was pretty funny, honestly. This is a pretty funny thing for J-Reg to do. But yeah.
I do think Dreg should probably be publicly executed.
Against my will, dude. I did not consent to this collab. I did not consent whatsoever.
Is borderline slander. Even Keffels and Xander Hall, who both hate Chud Logic, don't think Chud is a pedo.
Chud Logic and all, he is not a though. I am very familiar with the drama that happened where people tried to slander him as a pedo. I even spoke to him in private about that drama when it was going down and got like all the screenshots and info and everything. He's not a pedo.
Here's where I'll make a correction from the last time I talked about Noah.
And I think the kind of annoying thing about that I think I would like these guys to realize is, even apart from it being a false accusation, like, it doesn't help your arguments to make a false accusation and then have to apologize for it later, right? Like, especially because Noah probably knew it was fake. He could have just not done that. He could have just not done that at all. And ultimately, he could probably make some decent criticisms of Chud Logic. There are criticisms we made of everyone. But instead, he had to, like, throw this other thing in there just for an extra jab, which ultimately just made the content so much worse, and it weakened his position, made a lot of people hate him. You know, if you fall someone a pedophile once online, a lot of people will hate you forever. For fucking ever. And I think that Noah did kind of walk this back a little bit recently, I want to say. He's making a lot of videos about war stuff lately, but I think he did make a video kind of walking back some of the stuff he said about Chud. I want to say he did. I don't know where it is, though. But it wasn't a great response. It was kind of like, I wish I hadn't called him because it made me look bad more than anything else.
So YouTuber Noah Samson released a video called YouTube's Fake Nice Guys. And in this video, he had a statement to make about fellow YouTuber and streamer Chud Logic.
But this Chud Logic guy, I called him a for, I think, more tangible reasons. He was horny texting an 18-year-old fan of his in his Discord. He was in his mid-30s.
Like, the juxtaposition of being like, he horny texted an adult like right after is pretty funny.
They got on my ass saying the fact that she's 18 makes this chill, but even this guy knows it's weird for a 35-plus-year-old man to be talking like this to an 18-year-old.
But then, like, why not just say it's weird? Like, why not just be like, oh, he probably shouldn't have done that, instead of like, he's a fucking, you know what I mean?
He's an ephebophile and a weirdo and a groomer.
For context,
a weirdo and a groomer. A groomer? Okay. Lol. So essentially, this happened, and he got a lot of shit for it on Twitter. I think he did eventually walk it back, though. I don't know where the clip is, but I think he did walk it back. And the problem with even making that argument is like, okay, let's say you do just call him weird. Obviously, a lot of people are going to take that as, oh, you're calling him a right. Did Comic Con post it? Maybe he posted it. Doesn't look like I can find it. But you just have to take my word for it. I think he did walk it back, but it wasn't a very good walk back from what I remember. Yeah. Talking about the vids lady, can you do the Charleston? No, I will not. I will not. I agreed. Shed grew me back in 2016. Well, in fairness, Smaggle Daggle, you are disabled, so I feel like from that perspective, maybe you did deserve it. I could be wrong. You guys can let me know your thoughts on that.
I stated that this tweet was what got him banned from Twitter, but what really got him banned was this tweet describing how he killed Elon Musk. This is the
okay, Lamau.
Same guy making videos with his crappy bisexual lighting, ironically wearing maid outfits, by the way. These guys don't fool me. They're fake nice.
Oh, Smaggle, you got it? It's in this video? Okay.
Up is the Chud Logic allegations. So in my video, I retracted the accusation that Chud Logic was a but I did it in sort of a backhanded way. I'll play that now. So yes, technically you guys got me. He's not a he's an ephebophile. He's not a he's an ephebophile and a weirdo and a groomer. So yeah, I do want to unequivocally retract that I called him a I shouldn't have done that, and I'm sorry to Chud Logic for doing that. I got some feedback from CSA survivors about how we shouldn't throw that word around without evidence because it cheapens the word's meaning, and I think that makes perfect sense. I've always loved internet humor like this, you know, extreme hyperbolic insults, like quote tweeting a Zionist that's mocking Palestinians being killed and saying, hey chat, someone should probably beat this guy to death with hammers. Or in Chud's case, you know, he was putting scantily clad photos.
The edgy humor of making a serious accusation with no evidence. Edgy humor
on the thumbnails of videos that were scrutinizing sexual assault allegations. Hey guys, we should melt this pedo guy in a cast iron cauldron. It's ridiculous. It's a product of Twitter culture, and it's always been hilarious to me.
Product of Twitter culture. I feel like even here, this is not a great explanation, to be honest with you. It's a product of what you wanted to say. You wanted to say this, dude.
Learned over time, though, is that doing this is not worth it. It's not worth the trade-off in punishment. I got banned from Twitter for this and other similar statements. My cope for almost 2 years now has been that I was leaving anyways and that Elon broke the site and made it Nazi site. And that's true in part. I've been on Blue Sky lately and it's...
All right. Well, you get the idea. Not a lot of people really talking about the Chud Logic thing. Yeah. Well... Didn't see anyone in the comment section talking about it. Maybe a lot of them just don't know who Chud Logic is or don't care. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that I feel like that kind of thing would probably torch the career of anyone else. But because Noah has a certain political perspective, he's kind of allowed to get away with it because Chud Logic is not, you know, a leftist in the same way that Noah is. Even though I think Chud might be a leftist, but I'm not totally sure his political positions, to be honest.
These guys who take advantage of their viewers, leading us to our next point. 2. They weaponize their audience. I've seen many instances of Breadtubers using their audience as either a sword or a shield. For instance, they'll use them as a suitable defense against opposition, or to attack and harass those they deem irredeemable.
True, dude. So many of these people, you know, I'm kind of painting with broad strokes here, but so many of these people complain about harassment from other people's audiences and then directly encourage their audiences to harass others or justify when it happens to them. Like, if you're going to have principles, the point of a principle is that it applies across the board. Unless your principle is, none of this actually matters, I can just say whatever the fuck I want. Which, if that's your principle, just be honest about it. Just be honest about, you know, like I said, no bad tactics, only bad targets. Be honest about it. But these people are so disingenuous. I think Kevels is a perfect example of that. Complaining about online harassment while harassing fucking everyone they could possibly muster their audience to harass on Twitter. Directly trying to get people banned for even criticizing them in the slightest way. I'm so glad the fucking Keppel's arc is over. Thank God she left the internet.
My favorite example of the former is definitely the Balenciaga.
Thank you, Benny, for becoming a member.
Scandal, which I went over more in detail in my denims video. Basically, this fashion company posted some sus marketing photos, one showcasing a document relating to a CP court case, and others showing little girls holding teddy bears that have bondage on. YouTuber Shoeonhead was pretty much the figurehead of this controversy, calling out Balenciaga's actions and giving updates. Breadtubers that she deemed friends, being Xander Hall, Demon Mama, and Denims, called her out for this with very bizarre reasonings. They all tried downplaying the controversy, while at the same time insisting it would negatively affect the LGBTQ community.
Let me guess. The Balenciaga controversy is yet another example of right-wing hysteria. Chud hysteria. They're all going crazy about it. They're all pedo-jacketing Balenciaga to push the idea that Jeffrey Epstein and the DNC and Balenciaga are all connected. Let me guess. That would be my general guess about those arguments. Now, in fairness, I didn't really look into the Balenciaga thing. Maybe that is the case. But that's just what I'm guessing these people's responses was, in large part.
This had nothing to do with queer people. Yet they for some reason insisted that this will give conservatives fodder to spread hate. They don't realize that they are the ones giving them fodder by even implying gay people have something to do with this.
So, Xander Hall says, Shoe on Head on her way to once again use her massive platform to provide the neo-Nazis in her audience with fodder they can use to justify the murder of gay people. But this time, one day after an anti-gay terror attack. By the way, based Xander Hall, can we get some hypers in chat for Xander Hall having the balls and the spine and the Giga Chat energy to be a real trans ally? Because unironically, that's what it looks like. Xander Hall out here fucking spitting and showing you all how it's done.
Calm down, dog. It's just a shitty Patrick Bateman meme. Basically, these people were waiting for a good opportunity to show.
I can't believe you would post a meme the day after an anti-gay terror attack. The audacity of Shoe on Head to post a meme on Twitter the day after a terror attack is I mean, come on. It's disgusting. I'm so glad she got called out for that. I mean, Jesus, this is awful. And thank God Denims is here to put it, you know, in a super based way as well. Denims, for what I've seen, always has good takes. I've never seen Denims do anything bad, ever. So frankly, I like that I'm hearing all these people spit facts. And frankly, Shoe on Head needed to be held accountable. So I'm glad someone was doing it. So I'm glad someone was speaking truth to power.
Shit on Shoe on Head.
Base has lost all meaning. Yeah, it has. Probably got to can that word soon, to be honest with you. Probably got to go out the door with the vocabulary.
As I don't like the fact that she goes after both sides in videos. The user audiences, which are filled with lots of queer people, to attack someone else by manipulating them into thinking the scandal will negatively affect them in any way. Vosh would use a similar tactic earlier this year, when his special folder got leaked live on stream.
You can see this is an example of the kind of structure that I'm referring to.
Oh, this is, dude. I gotta move my face cam for this one. This is one of the greatest clips of all time.
If you somehow don't know what he had, got leaked live on stream.
You can see this is an example of the kind of structure that I'm referring to.
If you somehow...
It's like, I feel like you couldn't write that moment. I feel like the funniness of how good that fucking clip is, you can't write it. Like, I couldn't come up with that. Like, just like clicking on it being like, oh, not the lolly folder. Like, I cannot imagine it going better in terms of just the fucking comedy of that clip. You can just grab that clip of him and just replace the actual, you know, computer screen, whatever he's looking at, with literally anything, and it can just work perfectly. Like, it's like if It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia wrote a bit about a fucking streamer clicking on their weird folder. Like, the delivery is perfect. So credit to Vosh for creating some of the greatest, just one of the greatest comedic moments of all time, frankly. I love it. I'm glad that happened. That's fucking sick.
Don't know what he had on there. It was AI generated images involving horses and little girls doing some...
Was it AI generated? I didn't remember that. Was it AI generated? That makes it way fucking funnier. AI generated. Bro, who is downloading? I feel like I say this every time. Who is downloading their... The being, you know, what it is, you know, a conversation in and of itself, obviously, but who is downloading it? Who is downloading it and putting it on their computer in a folder? Why? Like, if you're going to watch, there's so much out there to just there's so much out there to watch. Why are you downloading it for a fucking folder? That is crazy to me.
Some pretty disgusting things. When Ethan Klein and other YouTubers called him out for being a lolly enjoyer, he clapped back with this.
I like the part where he said this is a community. Yeah, did he say that with regards to there being a lot of transgenders here? Is that what he meant? Curious.
Is that
what? No. Does Ethan ever said? Isn't Ethan like one of the most pro-trans people on the internet right now? Ethan's been on like his lefty arc for so long. Did he say what? No, I don't think that's why he said that at all. These people just pull shit out of their ass. Like, if you're going to take a position, at least, you know, if he's a lolly guy, just be like, lolly isn't right. If that's his position, he's just got to say that. That's the only thing you can say. You shouldn't just be like, is it because there's a lot of trans people in my community? Maybe that's why. No. Mental degradation? I don't think it's mental degradation. I think there's just no other response Vosh has. He doesn't want to admit that it was like weird lolly shit in the folder, so he just has to be like, oh, well, maybe it's because I'm pro-trans that they hate me.
It's not a pedo...
They don't hate me because I'm weird. It's because I'm so good. That's why, you see.
Community because trans people are part of it. It's because parts of your audience are defending the fact that you're sexually attracted to kids, and have made numerous arguments for why CP should be legal.
So, you know, there's... right, who buy child... Would you say they should not...
Oh, Vegan Gains? I didn't realize Vegan Gains was in this clip. That's a legendary.
Be held responsible for doing that?
Yes.
Really? Even though they're directly supporting child...
Yeah.
I think it's hypocritical. If because I bought my computer and the silicon in it was farmed in Africa by slaves. If I can do that and that's legal and no one's gonna call me out on my shit, then yeah, I have to be consistent in that respect.
Nice false equivalency there, douchebag. The difference is that one product could be made ethically, while the other cannot. Vosh can make the excuse that he's debate-brained all he wants, but that folder and the loads of other evidence that he's into lolly proves that wrong.
Man, I gotta say, one of the funniest things I ever did, I'm gonna suck myself off a bit here. I made this video about this thing, what was the name of this dating app? I don't even remember the name of it, but in it, I like made an account on this fucking dating app site for like femcells or whatever. And I just used a bunch of pictures of Vosh, agender, intersex, non-binary, transgender, trans woman. So these things are separate categories. Trans man, and I'll also be other because as you guys know, my real pronoun is Zim. Okay, I think we've got plenty of cute pictures of myself here.
Just a 30.
I'm still, this is such a lazy bit, but I'm still proud of this, okay? This is fucking awesome.
5-year-old content creator who loves politics. Dirtbag leftist.
Is he 35? How old is he actually? He's 30. Okay, I wasn't that far off. 30 is basically 35 in my mind, but dude, I still like this bit. I still like it, dude. I still think it was sick nasty. Sick fucking nasty. All right, in a literal sense.
It's just gross how he automatically thinks an attack on his defenders is an overall attack on trans people. One of those defenders was Keffels, who in my opinion is way worse than Vosh. It would take too long to cover all the awful things she's done, so I'll summarize it as this. She kept changing the story about her doxing.
The size queen himself. I mean, he is a size queen in a way.
Lied about which website doxed her for more clout. Raised $100,000 for a supposed legal case, and then wasted the money on vacation and streaming gear. Knew about the grooming that went on in her Discord server. Admitted to grooming minors. And promoted a site that sells homemade drugs to minors that has a lolly on the packaging. When Mudahar released his video showcasing the evidence for all of this, Keffels used the ultimate trump card, transphobia. She spread this lie to her audience, stating that Muda used the wrong pronouns in the announcement tweet, and that the art in the thumbnail was transphobic. These claims are as all hell, but Keffels' diehard fans believed it, and started going after Muda.
Well, because that's all they had to say, right? That's all that Keffels could possibly say. If Keffels actually addressed that video in full and responded to it, it would ruin her life. I feel like a lot of that shit is worthy of her going to jail. I feel like her audience would be, you know, chill with it because they like the idea of sending homemade hormones to children. But if she had to actually acknowledge a lot of the criticisms there with her face and admit to most of it, like, she would be railed in the internet. Even, like, I feel like Moist Critical would be, like, making a video about her being like, what the fuck is this, right? So realistically speaking, there was no response she could possibly give other than to be like, the thumbnail is actually transphobic. And frankly, that's enough for a lot of people who don't like Mudahar or like Keffels or like the most pro-trans people of all time to be like, you know what, man? You know what? Actually, fuck Mudahar. And that's all that Denims had to say about that as well. She was like, yeah, you know, I'm not even going to watch the video. The thumbnail is transphobic. We don't need to watch it.
They even made up conspiracy theories for how his wife is some sort of fascist right-winger. Late last year, Jake Doolittle released a hit piece of sorts on Ethan Klein, basically accusing him of faking a health scare for money. In reality, Ethan did legit think he had lupus, and was very open about it on stream. Jake did this under the guise of defending those in his audience who have chronic illnesses like himself. If he made things personal like that, he knew his audience would be more willing to go after Ethan and ruin his career in some way. This didn't end up happening, which I'll bring up later. But basically, Jake was once again using his Lyme disease to benefit himself financially. He also has a non-profit that sells branded merch. What the website doesn't tell you is that 90% of the profits from his overpriced junk goes to him. Only 10% goes to people in need. Jake had only admitted to this at the end of a few videos.
Dude, doing charity merch and pocketing most of the money, that is fucking, I mean, that's just sick. That's awesome. You know, most people aren't brave enough to do that. I have a lot of respect for Jake Doolittle. Fuck charity. Rug it all. Rug it all.
So if you feel like it, you can donate to the Never Stop Fund. 10% of all profits from the clothing brand go into the fund. So either way, you're helping people out.
If you're selling merch on a non-profit, you probably shouldn't be taking profits from it. Kinda scummy, dude.
I completely disagree. I think you should, in fact, if anything, claim that you're donating all of it to charity and donate none of it and put it right in your bank account. That's what I would do. And that's what you should be doing. Because charity is evil, okay? Giving money to people in need is evil. Taking money for yourself is beautiful, and that's what you should be doing. I think we can all agree with that. I think that's not a controversial take, obviously.
It's more clear now on the website, but still. Sorry about that tangent. Anyways, I want to give one more example of these guys weaponizing their audiences with malicious intent. The super mega drama. I won't get too detailed into this because there's loads of other videos that do a good job at that. But basically, a bunch of YouTubers and streamers made statements accusing Matt Watson and Ryan McGee of some pretty awful
What a colorful collection of people, by the way. Oh my god. What a collection of individuals. Morgue Pie, Nick is Not Green, Leighton, Ethan, and Lex. I mean, this is like nightmare blunt rotation if I've ever seen one. What a dark world. If this is your friend group, what did you do wrong? What did you do wrong?
things. Most of these statements were disproven, involving cheating and homophobia. But what stuck around a bit longer was the allegation spread by Lex Updog. She alleges that Matt and Ryan knowingly covered up her sexual assault by a channel artist, yet they showed evidence of her wanting to keep it private. Many of her other claims are also disproven, but Lex, her pal Nick is Not Green, and her boyfriend, Ethan is Online, stayed stubborn. Throughout this drama, they pretty much used the topic of SA to motivate their audience to cancel Super Mega, even holding a live stream on Ethan's second channel to celebrate. This was pretty gross behavior, especially
to me, that live stream,
even holding a live stream.
This live stream where they were smoking pot while cheering on that Super Mega was losing subscribers. This is like the perfect example of hubris and overconfidence. Like thinking that you're so righteous that you can cringily smoke weed on stream while cheering on the downfall of another creator. Like, even outside of the fact that their accusations were completely bullshit, this in and of itself is so bad, man. It's so bad. Like, this is what happens when you are delusional and you think that you've completely destroyed your enemies in one. This is the peak of delusion right here. And it's, you know, ultimately I think just completely horrible optics, if anything. You know, like if you want to act like you're doing something for the righteous and good reasons, meanwhile you're smoking pot while cheering on the destruction of someone else's career, supposedly off of the back of a very legitimate allegation of covering up sexual assault. Like, what a horrible look. I do not know why they thought this was a good idea. Tom, I missed the Soda Funk era. Can we bring that song back? Perhaps. Like, if you're gonna do this, why do you need to stream it? You know what I mean? Why do you need to stream it? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me.
On Ethan's second channel to celebrate. This was pretty gross behavior, especially when Matt and Ryan's late friend Daniel was brought up. Lex alleged that the two would make jokes about his passing, which they denied. Even if they did, who cares? They're allowed to make jokes about their trauma. I mean, Ryan was the one who found his body.
The person making these claims never knew Daniel. They definitely were not a part of the group that experienced the trauma of losing him. And I think, honestly, it is disrespectful to bring him up as a weapon. I felt like he was just brought into the situation for drama's sake to try to hurt me or Matt or hurt our image. I have done enough shit to tarnish my image, but I will not stand by and let someone talk lies about the way I talked or treated my trauma in regards to Daniel.
The fans of the
to be honest, if I had to guess, I think the reason why Lex said that and was so dishonest about it, if I had to guess, the reason why is because she thought that by saying that, she could get Super Mega's audience to hate them even more because of the idea that they would disrespect their former friend. I mean, really, Ryan, Ryan's former friend, but I feel like that probably is the reason why, because, you know, the idea of disrespecting the dead and not caring about obviously to their audience was a big deal. And the idea that he would mock their death was a big deal. Mock Daniel's death was a big deal. So I think that's probably the reason why they did this, because they thought that it would really help them in their arguments and discredit Ryan and Matt. And I think that, you know, even outside of that, obviously the argument, like saying that you can't make fun of or like make jokes about the idea of like your dead friend when you are the friend, I think that is very dumb. Like, whose place is it to say other than the people involved? Obviously, no one's. But I think that is the reason why they did this, right? I think that is the reason why. Because disrespecting the dead, frankly, from an optics perspective, if people think you do that and it's about someone that they followed or cared about online, like, you can't beat that in terms of a, you know, optics perspective of like making that argument. So I think that's probably why they did that. Now, I will say, you know, I've said it before. Some people disagree with me. Some people agree. You know, I understand, you know, both sides of it. But I think that, you know, to his credit, Nick is Not Green has seemingly turned things around. I mean, he hasn't been making the same content he was making before. He really has seemingly almost quit YouTube over what happened. It seems to me like he's made an effort to not repeat the mistakes of his past. And he did make multiple different apologies where he explained his thought process. So from my perspective, it seems like Nick is Not Green has actually like grown and changed from the situation. in contrast to some of the other people involved. You know, he responded, I think, relatively decently in the end. Obviously not at first, but yeah, I like to imagine that people can grow and change, and I think that Nick is Not Green is probably someone who is probably doing that as a person. And he paid a big price for it. He took a loss of viewership. A lot of his audience hated him. You know, the audience that wanted him to cancel Super Mega hated him. The audience that, you know, thought that he was being dumb with his allegations, which he definitely was, also hated him. But he really took a real nosedive in terms of that. He suffered for it. And I feel like that is ultimately a big sign that somebody's showing commitment to change, that they're willing to suffer for that change. If these weed fried soybeans never started these lies, Super Mega would have hit 5 million this year. I mean, maybe. I don't know if that's the case, honestly. I was never a huge Super Mega fan, so it's hard for me to say. But maybe. It is interesting, I will say, that they didn't totally recover in terms of the sub loss they suffered from that situation, because I remember they had like a mill, and they lost like 50K, maybe 75K subs, and they haven't gained a lot of those back. Like, those people who hated them due to that drama didn't come back, which is kind of sad. It's kind of sad. Maybe those people just didn't care about the truth of it. I don't know. Maybe they just needed Matt and Ryan to be their perfect soy boys. Who knows? But yeah, I have, you know, obviously I wish them the best, regardless if I was a big fan or not beforehand. Their content's gotten worse, sadly. I mean, you know, I'm not a huge Super Mega fan, but I've seen some of the skits they've done recently. They were pretty good. They did one about the Arby's video was pretty funny. They did one that was like about Stewie Griffin that was actually really fucking funny, though, that I saw. I just got it, I recommended. I was like, oh, I guess I'll check this out, and it was pretty good. Yeah, this video, the YouTuber who slaughtered his family. It's like a true crime parody video, like JCS parody. This video was actually pretty funny, bro. I like that one.
Trio didn't care, and left various nasty comments on his goodbye video, so much so that the comments had to be turned off. Only Nick would apologize for this, and Ethan and Lex would remain adamant that all their allegations are true. For someone who holds people super responsible for what they say, you truly are a hypocrite, Ethan.
And as a creator, spreading this kind of parasocial rhetoric and allowing it to be okay on your channel is not only irresponsible, but it's probably going to bite you in the ass one day.
But this isn't the only tactic these guys use to attack their opponents. They also love labeling them as full-blown extremists. 3. They dehumanize their opponents. Breadtube, being filled with many on the far left, view those of opposing viewpoints as inherently bad. Even those who most would consider right-wing. Even the occasional left-wing personalities get called Nazis from time to time. They do this due to an "you're either with us or against us" mentality.
There was this meme at the time for Breadtube, this phrase that came up. It was like, my opponents are ontologically evil. Like, they are intrinsically in their nature evil. Which is generally a bad argument. Like, there are people who are seemingly intrinsically evil due to psychological trauma or, you know, mental illness or fucked upness that, you know, can, you know, lead them to be intrinsically evil in their own personality. You know, there are people who you cannot help, unfortunately. And I'm not trying to say that to demonize mental illness, but what I am saying is, like, there are people, you know, like EDP445, who I don't think that guy can be redeemed, right? But in general, that's a pretty big exception. And politically speaking, there's very few people who are ontologically evil. But this is the mentality. Because if you can dehumanize your opponent, you don't have to treat them like a human. They're dehumanized. Therefore, you don't have to critically engage with their arguments. You can just straw man them. You can say that they say things they didn't say. You can directly lie about them. And therefore, you get away with being completely... But the thing is, it only lasts for a certain amount of time, right? It doesn't last forever. Ultimately, if you do that, you will ultimately accrue an audience of people who are only there for that. And if you give anyone the benefit of the doubt, they hate you. And then you'll also accrue an audience of anti-fans that fucking hate you because you lie so much. So it doesn't last that long. And, you know, Nick Is Not Green has really paid the price for that.
Trying to draw a line between their side and everyone else. This instead alienates people and makes them more radical, which is not a good thing on either side of the political spectrum. I first brought this topic up in my Noah Samson video, as he loves to label his opponents as incels, red pillars, reactionaries, or fascists. An issue I have with this is that he doesn't properly define these terms, as he kind of throws them around all willy-nilly. I mean, there's this one video where he shows a cringy workout motivation video, and describes it as this.
Like, I'm all for a little gym motivation, right? But why does it have to be a little bit fascist, you know? I don't know, seems not great.
What does showing fat people as lazy have to do with fascism? You can criticize that video without making it so political like that. Another Breadtuber who
That's such a weird area of the internet too. Like, why is everything... I haven't seen that whole Noah Samson video, so maybe there's a greater point there, but why is everything fascist? Like, why is it that, like, because you make fun of someone, you are fascist? Because you make fun of fat people, you are fascist? Like, can't you just make the argument that that in and of itself is bad? Why must everything be tied to this greater political narrative? I really don't get it. Maybe there's some greater point from this video that Rob's Media has clipped that I'm not really getting. That is possible. Maybe there is. You know, I don't know. Maybe there is some kind of inherent, or not inherent, maybe there is some kind of fascist subset of gym culture. I'm not aware of that, if that is the case. But regardless, I do notice this is a big thing. It's like, if you drink water, therefore you are fascist. If you make fun of people, you are fascist because fascists drank water. Fascists made fun of people. It's very weird. I would even like push back against the idea that racism or people who are racist are fascist. Not because I support racism, but instead because these are two different things, right? Like, racism is often a component of fascism, but these things exist in a Venn diagram of crossovers, right? It's like the majority of racist people out there are not thinking ideologically about how there needs to be some kind of grand state that promotes their own race, right? They're just racist people. So I would even push back against that. Fascism is just a type of government. Well, I mean, fascism is, I mean, that's reductive. It's not just a type of government. It's generally a pretty bad type of government, I would say.
Necessarily use the term fascist as Big Joel, who made a video titled "Conservative Comedy Destroyed My Life." In this video, he reviews the Nostalgia Critic video on the 1982 Pink Floyd film The Wall. It's a pretty bad video, and I went over why in my...
The funniest part of this video, which I don't think I've even seen this video all the way through. The funniest part of this video is that for some reason, Corey Taylor from Slipknot and his son are in the video. And I don't know why. I think what I heard was that Corey's son is like a fan of the Nostalgia Critic, so Corey just decided to be in it. But for some reason, like, Slipknot is involved in this video in some way. The Slipknot family, the Slipknot bloodline is involved. It's very weird. I don't know. I mean, I do know why in a literal sense. I guess I just can't explain why that is real in my mind. I feel like every week I see something where I'm like, what the fuck? Maybe I just need to stop being surprised. I didn't hit a new bench PR, Tom. The West has fallen. Yeah, only because of you. You were carrying the West in your reps, and now it's over, dude. You effed up.
Worst YouTuber song list, but Joel's criticism of it is incredibly questionable. I mean, Doug himself is not political, and neither is this video really. Joel alludes to Doug being a liberal centrist, but then calls him reactionary as he dives into a contentious scene. The scene being parodied alludes to fascism, while the parody itself has a pretty pretentious message about cancel culture, but it wasn't intended to spread any sort of political messaging. This doesn't stop Joel from saying this.
Doug looks at a film about a Nazi who screams about murdering Jews and says, "That guy's just like me. I'm gonna make a whole song about how much I love that guy." And that's not funny, at least not on purpose. It's sad.
Again, criticize this.
I mean, I think that's a great comparison. I think Doug Walker is a fascist, and there's no doubt about it. I mean, just look at Nostalgia Critic, right? Critic, being critical. Who else is critical? Fascists. They're critical of race. Critical race theory, fascist. Therefore, I completely agree with Big Joel. I think that he needs to be talked about more online, actually. I think he has a good point here. Come on.
Shitty video all you want, but you lost me when you tried to string together a political message out of it. Other Breadtubers use similar tactics to create sort of a scapegoat for the opposition in order to discuss the criticism.
Pink Floyd, The Wall. You just say that in all caps. Moist is also critical. What about him? That's a great point. Moist, critical. What's he critical of? I think it's probably black people, if I had to guess.
During the super mega drama, Nick would refer to his haters as Reddit debate dorks. The first time was indirectly in a separate video.
Today I'm wearing my scary shirt to make me look a lot more scary. There's too many Reddit debate bro dorks on this website trying to come after me.
This ties back to the smugness thing. I think people just hate the smugness. Like the thinking you're better than everyone else. The calling out other people for being Reddit debate guys when you look like that. When you've got like, oh, the goofy, edgy, this is like a graphic shirt, but it's like ironic. I'm ironically wearing it. You know, I don't actually like it. There's like an irony to it, but maybe it loops back around into being cool. Or like the demographic of like lefty guys who dress in like hunting gear because they're like, oh, I'm ironically wearing it to fit in, but it's also like counterculture because I'm reclaiming hunting gear from the chuds. It's like, bruh, come on. Ironic, the dude calling Doug fascist has Mickey Mouse in the background of each video. Why is it ironic? Is Mickey Mouse fascist? I mean, that's possible. I haven't heard of the Mickey Mouse allegations, but I think there could be a good point there.
Every single day. So I thought I'd show him a little bit of what I'm made of. You know, do I look scary?
Sure, buddy. Anyways, he says something similar in an Instagram story.
Oh, I remember this, bro. Have you seen what's going on in your Reddit? Why are people so mad? A certain Debate Bros fan base has their aims on me for a few weeks. They will move on to their next target in like a month. The same people who try getting people banned for saying cracker. Genuinely the most mindless zombies you'll find on the internet. Man, I'm trying not to shit on Nick too much because I know he's reformed, but bro, these posts were so fucking cringe. Just don't do this. If you're getting hate online and you want to be like the base guy, just don't do this. Just shut the fuck up. Don't make all the posts about how not mad you are. Guys, I'm not mad. I swear I'm not mad. I've never been mad once in my life. Me? Mad? The idea of me being mad? No, that's impossible. I could never be mad. I think you're mad. Me mad? Why am I talking about it so much? Well, the fact that I'm not mad just illuminates me to the fact that I should talk about how not mad I am all the time because I'm not mad. You're accusing me of being mad, and yet I am not. Therefore, I'm not.
Clearly referencing Destiny, who began looking into the super mega drama thanks to Turkey Tom. Then we come to In Praise of Shadows, who I'll call Zane for the rest of the video. Surprised I really haven't discussed or talked about him on the channel yet, though to be fair, a lot of channels did. I did archive the original video, so you're welcome. Basically, this dude makes horror movie videos and made a really bad review of The Hills Have Eyes, where he compares the cannibals to American minorities. This basically sent him into a downward spiral, leading to the video, Bad Conservative Horror Movies. Most of this video has nothing to do with the title, and is mainly a response to the hate he gets, along with being a hit piece against a bunch of YouTubers he is a hate boner for.
Man, looking back at this video, I still can't believe this even happened. Like, you couldn't dream of a more, like, politically brain-rotted video than this one. Like, schizophrenically tying together all of these random points to make the conclusion that Wendigoon is somehow responsible for, like, January 6th. I can't, and, like, it's not even a stretch to say that that is what he did, because that is literally what he did. Especially that one part in the video when he was like, someone called me the F-slur on Twitter, and you know what happened the next day? Wendigoon followed me. If this isn't proof that he unironically supports the fact that people are calling me an F-slur, I don't know what is. Like, it's just genuine, I think, mental illness. And even Zane seemingly acknowledged that a little bit in his apology video, which wasn't a great apology, but he seemingly acknowledged that. You mad, bro? Cool story. True.
The main one being Wendigoon, who he describes as a fascist bootlicker.
Claiming to be very against the government and for the rights of the people, while at the same time giving a warm embrace to one of the biggest fascist bootlickers on the internet. And the only thing that one could reasonably gather from this picture of them hugging is that he too is a fascist bootlicker himself.
That's the only conclusion. Because Donut Operator was a cop, therefore he's a fascist bootlicker. Okay? ACAB, hashtag ACAB. And because Wendigoon hugged him in a photo, therefore he is also a fascist bootlicker. Like, it's such a stretch. I do not know how people come to these conclusions. I do not know how this happened. Like, you couldn't dream of a worse hit piece video than what In Praise of Shadows made. To this day, I'm basically thanking him for the content that he was able to provide. Because, like, Jesus. It was so bad. It was so bad. Even, like, apart from how schizophrenic the points were, the research was so fucking bad. Like, saying that, like, saying that Brandon Buckingham was a gun tuber, like, how do you even come to that conclusion? Did you even look at what you were reading into? Did you even look at his channel? I guess the conclusion is ultimately he didn't. His excuse in the apology was basically like, I'm not a very online guy, and, you know, it's just, you know, I think you guys can kind of, you know, understand that I'm not an online guy. And that's the reason why my video was so poorly researched. And it's like, is that really a great excuse? I don't think so. You know, I do kind of want to let bygones be bygones here. I don't want to harp on him too much, but I still can't believe how bad that video was. That's like if we hugged and then I catch the gay. Well, if you do hug a man, you are gay. I think we know that to be true, obviously.
Dude, Donut Operator is a former cop who occasionally criticizes other cops. What are you on about? A lot of this segment is just Zane trying to label all of Wendigoon's friends as right-wing fascists, despite most of them not being political at all. They just like guns, and Wendigoon himself is Christian. One of the only political...
I think that guys like this are probably why the Breadtuber label has become like Breadtuber is almost a slur at this point. Like, you just hear the word Breadtuber and you just think of like guy that looks like this, guy that has certain perspective, guy that is annoying, and that's it. So I think that's probably why the Breadtube label has kind of been shied away from in recent times, which I guess, in fairness, a lot of people didn't necessarily embrace it in the first place. It's kind of like a blanket term to describe a kind of guy, but yeah, like Breadtuber parentheses derogatory has always been how it is for sure.
YouTubers he mentions is Shu, who Zane refers to as this.
He is publicly friends with Shoe on Head, who is a conservative masquerading as a leftist, who has built a career off of lazy anti-woke content, complaining about SJWs, who says stuff like, Karl Marx rising from the grave finding out his movement has been taken over by fat, ugly, mentally ill losers.
Yeah, Shu is on a secret...
I mean, that tweet was kind of true, I feel like. That tweet was kind of true. Maybe. Maybe just a little bit.
Conservative. She voted for Bernie Sanders. Lumping these pretty average people as right-wing extremists is pretty hilarious, as this dude is an actual extremist. I mean, at one point he claims that Wendigoon should be allowed in public, due to the beliefs Zane described him.
I care deeply about horror, and everything that he does has demonstrated so far in his career that he should not be welcomed in our spaces, or even, just in public in general.
He also accuses Wendigo of being racist, strictly because of the area he lives in.
Deep Appalachia is very white country, and for the most part, is exceptionally racist. Genuinely in this part of the country, you have to assume that any white person you meet is racist unless they show you otherwise.
That was so crazy too. I forgot that part, man. There's so many gems. I feel like this video, you could just take any clip from it and it's just a perfect meme. It's a perfect fucking meme. Because it's so outlandish. It's so ridiculous. It doesn't even seem like a real video. It seems like I feel like if I didn't know any better, I would say that this video is designed as like an intentionally slanderous parody of what a delusional person would think about a normal YouTuber. Gabe here got to his conclusions because he was barely paying rent. I mean, yeah, that was definitely a part of it. I think the jealousy definitely factored in, unfortunately. Which in that way, I kind of feel bad for him, but you brought it on yourself, man. Tom, when are you making an IPOS imitation video? Same voice, same fit, same smugness, everything. I feel like that would have been really funny, like a year ago, whenever this video came out. When did this actually happen? When did this happen? It was only 6 months ago? Half a year, damn. Man, time flies when you're having fun, I guess. I thought this was like a year ago. Man, it's been a crazy year for drama. So much has happened. You know what? Maybe Zane will actually escape the label. Maybe he'll escape the preconceived notions about it. Maybe he'll become one of the greatest horror YouTubers of all time. It's unlikely, but it's possible. You know what? It's possible. I would love to see that. I would love to see that flip.
What would I call someone who judges another person based on skin color? Oh, I know. Racism. Good job, Zane. Glad it's people like you determining who's racist. Now, I really didn't see any other Breadtubers defending this dude, as this video was bad, even for their standards. Though these guys produce similarly bad faith videos, it's just never this blatant. Noah Samson recently talked about Zane, mentioning that it was just weird.
So in case you couldn't tell by the footage he's showing on the stream, this guy's referencing, it seems like In Praise of Shadows video about Wendigoon, if anyone's familiar with that. My audience might not be, but pretty weird video. Pretty weird and bad video. I like that guy's videos otherwise. That was just a really weird video.
I guarantee you Noah is downplaying it, because his exposed videos are just as poorly done. I mean, his Cheeto video basically painted him as a terrorist for reacting to something from libs at TikTok. He also accused Patient Xena of creating a...
I actually haven't seen his videos about Cheeto. Maybe it'd be fun to look over that drama sometime and see what that was like, but I honestly don't remember what that drama was precisely. I didn't see it all. Wait till he finds out about H.P. Lovecraft? True. Whatever you do, all right, listen. You want to read Call of Cthulhu, to each their own, but do not fucking ask about H.P. Lovecraft's cat, all right? Do not ask H.P. Lovecraft the name of his cat. You will not enjoy the answer. Or maybe you will. Maybe you will, to each their own. Thank you, Tony Baloney and Call Me Kenneth, for becoming members.
A right-wing pipeline for not thinking racism wasn't the only reason people didn't like the Little Mermaid remake, and has made numerous attempts at dunking on Think Before You Sleep for being far-right and doing bad research. These usually never work for him, and he even deleted the Patient Xena video earlier this year. They do this because at the end of the day, Breadtubers are only really looking to make their political team look good, not having nuanced or interesting discussions, which leads us to our next point. 4. They treat everything as team sports. A lot of the hypocrisy...
You know what? I'll be charitable here and say not every Breadtuber or person you would maybe associate with Breadtube is like that. This is a video, at the end of the day, compiling the worst examples, which are relatively easy targets. There are probably some fine Breadtubers. I mean, ContraPoints, I've seen, some ContraPoints videos. I'm not a huge fan. Maybe there's something I don't know about, but I've seen this amount of ContraPoints videos where I was like, oh, that's good. That was a good video. So, yeah, I don't really think, this necessarily applies across the board to all of them. But when you're picking the worst examples, there's definitely a point to be made.
In this community come down to them only caring about what those on the right or center do. If someone on their side of the aisle does something bad or questionable, they either look the other way or try to downplay it. The most recent example of this is with the Ava Chris Tyson situation, with only a few Breadtubers covering it. If you somehow don't know, Ava has been accused...
Oh, is this the people are only mad at Chris because Chris is trans? Is that what this whole meme was? That was a funny meme.
So grooming multiple minors on Discord and buying lolly art.
I mean, I don't think you can deny that there definitely were a lot of people on the right who were like political pundits who were like, yet another piece of evidence that all trans people are creeping on kids. Like that definitely happened, but I don't accept the narrative that is like the majority of why people were mad about Chris Tyson. That is completely false. This is like when I hear people be like, Like, people who just don't know anything about the drama, which there are a lot of people who will make comments about this shit. They'll be like, I think the reason why people are mad at Pokimane is because she's a woman. I think that's the main reason. And it's like, I mean, ultimately, you can say that's a part of it if you want. You can condemn those people. But you still have to admit there were a lot of valid points about Pokimane during the height of that drama. It's not all woman bad, right? It's not all just an excuse to say woman bad. There were genuine points. She falsely copyright claimed Bo Blacks, just for one example. You know, there was that clip of her talking about, who was that guy? Talking about how his YouTube sponsorship should be taken away. Like, there were a lot of reasons to criticize Pokimane, frankly. But a lot of the time, like, for people who don't know about the drama and just see all drama YouTubers as, like, they're victims of the Chud curse, it's like, oh, man. This is all just because people hate minorities or hate women. It's like, come on, man. That's so reductive.
Among other things. While covering it on stream, Ethan is...
Oh, it's a Gundam? Yeah, that guy.
Online decided to downplay it all by saying Ava was just posting some edgy tweets 7 years ago, and that people change. He gets pressed for seemingly defending Ava and having some level of bias.
I will say that. I have a recency bias. I have a bias for shit that has actually happened in the last 5 fucking years. I mean, Jesus. It shows a bias. I can say that what Chris was doing on the internet in 2017 is fucking gross, unacceptable, but she doesn't do that anymore. She doesn't do that. It's not acceptable. I agree with you.
Okay, first off, bro, this shit is beyond gross. And second, these tweets go up to 2019, 5 years ago. Your recency bias should apply. God, he looks like a Courage the Cowardly Dog villain. Also, Ethan doesn't clearly think that way, because his most popular second channel video is over 30 minutes of him criticizing creepy things Matt Walsh said a decade ago. And he even complains about hypocrisy here.
I think you should absolutely give people the benefit of the doubt that they have changed when you see them have an old take that's a bad take. But when you dig up something from 15 years ago on Matt Walsh and it's still perfectly in line with his worldview and there's no evidence that he's ever changed and he still thinks that way, and you can reasonably assume that he still thinks that way, and he's publicly saying these kinds of things, it doesn't matter how old it is. He might as well have said that fucking clip yesterday because he's the same stupid incel fuck.
This is despite the...
Maybe I'm off base here. I don't know a ton about Matt Walsh. I don't watch his content. I don't watch a lot of political content creators, so I don't know what Matt Walsh said. Why is he calling Matt Walsh a... Why? I mean, there's obviously, like, the clear point of hypocrisy there that Rob made between the Chris Tyson thing and Matt Walsh, but why is he saying that Matt Walsh is an incel? What did Matt Walsh do? Like, I genuinely do not know. Matt Walsh is funny as hell. I have no clue. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of Matt Walsh stuff. Maybe he is funny. Maybe he's not. I honestly can't tell you. The only thing I've seen from Matt Walsh is that movie he made called Am I Racist, which was a little cringe. You know, it was funny at points. You know, ultimately it was obviously trying to push one political perspective, but I can still acknowledge it was, like, it had funny moments for sure. Like that moment when he, towards the end of the movie, Matt Walsh is talking to this author. I can't remember what book she wrote, but essentially he convinces her to give like $20 from her purse to this black dude in front of her because he's asking for reparations, and she does it. That was pretty fucking funny. But yeah, to be honest, I don't know like why he's calling Matt Walsh some kind of... I guess this clip is out of context, so there could be something else that I'm missing, but I haven't seen any serious allegations about Matt Walsh ever.
The fact that Ethan criticized Alex Rosen for his old pedo hunting tactics, which the guys improved upon. In Ethan's video on Alex, he points out many times that Alex is conservative, and tries to paint him as a creepy fuck. Though at the same time, he makes weird statements like that Alex was harassing EDP, seemingly sympathizing with a pedo.
And so he and his weird little cameraman are just harassing EDP and asking him a bunch of really stupid questions like, why do you do this?
Oh no, don't harass them. I remember when I saw this video, I was like, I feel like if you want to criticize the sort of predator catching community for a lot of the bad tactics they use, which to be clear, there is a lot of that shit. That does happen. With Alex Rosen these days, it seems to be mostly above board as far as I've seen. If there's evidence presented otherwise, you know, that's fair to be criticized. But since the EDP sting, it seems like Alex Rosen has realized the error of his ways and changed things around and now regularly gets people arrested. That seems to be the case. But the thing for Ethan's video here, when I covered it, is it was very obvious to me he didn't really care about the issue at hand. The thing he cared much more about was just that Alex Rosen is a right-wing guy. Therefore, once again, anything he does is bad. You cannot give him credit for anything good he does, which is very frustrating to see.
This man. Later, he criticizes Alex for not helping self-admitted pedos.
Like, this dude probably makes plenty of money off this shit, but he's not paying for therapy. He's not getting these guys into, like...
Oh, no. He's not paying for the to go to therapy. No, dude. How awful, man. Dude, Alex Rosen needs to personally pay for every to become unpedophilic via therapy. That's what he needs to do, all right? He needs to personally supply them with CP for them to get off to, so they don't bang real kids. That's what he needs to do, man. Come on. Come on, man. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? But this is the crux of the problem with these, you know, lower level kind of BreadTube guys, right? Like, they don't really care about the issue. It's completely politicized at all times. Why would he do that? Well, that would show that he actually cares. Come on, man. If he pays for their therapy instead of getting them arrested, that would show that he cares, clearly. Protecting kids? Bad. Paying for therapy? Good. Simple.
Housing that's away from, like, anyone they could do any harm to, that has no internet. He's not doing shit. And he gets called a hero for it by hogs like Michael Knowles.
Yeah, the housing is called prison, which is where Alex is sending these creepy fucks to, since he works with law enforcement now. The fact that this dude is willing to go up to bat to defend literal predators just to dunk on some conservative is really bizarre to me, man. He could have just not mentioned any of the predator stuff and focused on the guy's beliefs, but no.
You can do both is probably the point. If you watch the Ethan is Online video, unfortunately, that is not the point. As much as I respect your wish to give him the benefit of the doubt, that video was not good. That video was really bad.
Is it just because they're idiots?
Are they idiots? Yeah, I'd say a lot of them are, but you know,
Okay, Michael Knowles is a fucking idiot. What kind of question is that? Because they're stupid?
This is the same guy.
That's not even the question. The question isn't, are they because they're stupid? The question is, how dumb are these guys that they try to meet up with a young girl online and end up meeting up with Alex Rosen? The question is not, are people fucking kids because they're... That is not the question. That is... It's just so disingenuous. And you don't even have to be. Like, you can criticize Alex Rosen while not being disingenuous. You can criticize Michael Knowles without being disingenuous, but he just can't help himself.
I made a video trying to disprove the gay groomer narrative, and then twisted it by saying Catholic conservatives are the real pedos, with his only example being a 50-year-old case of a gay priest molesting a boy.
It is pretty extensively documented how much of a defender Archbishop John Roach was. He literally had the sexual assaulter of multiple boys.
Good job, Ethan, defending gay people by listing off one of them as an example. Another breadtuber who's been downplaying the Ava situation is Denims, and
This is always the thing, though, like, you see this on both sides, unfortunately. Like, super right-wing dudes would be like, the real are the trans people, and then super left-wing people would be like, the real are all right-wingers, and it's like, can we just come to a middle ground and be like, not all of one group are molesting children, not all of one group are horrible people, like, you just have bad apples within the ranks. Like, unless you're criticizing the MAP community, generally speaking, you're going to have a hard time painting broad strokes without getting a lot of pushback on that. Hawk 2, a rug pull on that thing? True! And also, base, I love Haley Welch.
I eventually plan to talk about her takes on this in a future video. Basically, she spends 2 hours slowly reviewing the drama, and cherry-picking the lousiest evidence to show to her audience. She claims she doesn't think the art on Ava's wall was lolly, and dismisses other tweets she made as edgy nonsense. When called out on her hypocrisy, she reacts with hostility.
Oh, you guys are so cute. One day.
The smugness. We're bringing it back around to the smugness. You guys are so cute. You guys are just so cute. You think you're smart enough to criticize me? Aw, that's so adorable. I just want to squish your... Shut up, bro. Stop. Please, you don't need to do this.
After the former Twitch staff tweet about Doc, but now you're
She thinks I'm cute. That's funny, Anna.
Why did we ban him? I was responding. But now your narrative changes when the pedo is trans. Did you... I think it's cute that you want to believe that we're not consistent, but we are. It's you guys that aren't consistent. I think buying a poster from this weird pedo Nazi artist is fucking creepy and strange. I also think a 33-year-old man trying to meet up with a minor is creepy and insane. But it's cute that you want to believe that we're not consistent on our positions.
She's referring to the Dr. Disrespect situation, which many compare this to for obvious reasons. Denims doesn't think this is as bad.
Stop gooning for Haley Welch. I mean, to be honest, you know, would you guys blame me if I put every single dollar I've ever made in my life meaning 10 of them, into the Welch coin and went to the moon, which I think it is. I put all my money in. I haven't checked and know anything about it. I've seen a lot of haters saying that it's not going to the moon. I completely disagree with that. I think it clearly is. So, I mean, realistically speaking, is there anything wrong with that? Like, she's my girl. I'm going to support her. I'm going to support Haley Welch and everything she does. What's wrong with that? Just be chill, man. Just be chill. Be a chill guy. Be like that chill dog. I'm going to support the people I like, and that's Haley Welch. I'm not dumb. You're dumb. Well, you see, that is the case. Like, I'm not dumb. You're dumb. The fact that you would even think that I am dumb or said something wrong is evidence that you are dumb. In fact, the dumb one is you. Hawk Tuah is going to the moon, boys. I'm not checking my wallet till tomorrow. All right, I've got diamond hands. All these people saying it's going down, I don't want to hear it.
Despite there being way more evidence against Ava, when the doc made his statements, Denims was quick to make multiple tweets calling him out. Yet with Ava, she's pretty silent and is quick to question the accusers.
This is another instance where I feel like it's very bizarre that people are comparing the Dr. Disrespect situation to Ava's situation, because Dr. Disrespect was a 33-year-old man flirting with minors. Ava was a 20-year-old trying to make stupid jokes with minors. One of them is like, dude, what the fuck are you thinking? You're crazy. You're trying to commit a felony. And the other one is like, oh my God, you are cringe. You are beyond cringe.
Casey,
I feel like cringe does not totally encapsulate it. But once again, I feel like the ignorance on this topic from Denims is partially a function of just genuinely not knowing what the fuck is going on, and partially a function of not wanting to know, because if she does know, she has to acknowledge that it is much more complicated than that, and there's a lot more evidence against Ava than she wants to admit, right? I feel like it's not that hard to be like, both can be bad. It's not that hard.
Tron, Denim's friend, has also been downplaying this despite how aggressive she's been with the doc. This hypocrisy extends to those on the opposing side, with Sneeko and Nick Merckx downplaying what the doc did. Though one side is...
Did Nick Merckx downplay it? I didn't see that. I feel like that's wrong. I thought Nick Merckx like totally disavowed him and said that's fucking weird and I don't want to be around that shit. Did he not? I feel like Nick Merckx had a pretty decent response to that whole situation. For Sneeko, I can't defend Sneeko, but for Nick Merckx, I thought Nick Merckx was mostly fine.
Is more blatant about it. Denims has flat out admitted before that she doesn't think covering drama from her neck of the woods is worth her time, saying this in the same stream where she defends Keffels.
My perspective is, I don't like to spend my time going after other people that are on the left, right? And that's just because I think my time is better spent making fun of people on the right.
Man, self-report in a crazy way. Why would I ever criticize someone who I'm friends with, who I mean, even outside of the friends thing? Why would I ever even acknowledge? Like, you don't even have to go super in-depth on it. You can just be like, yeah, Keffels is fucked up. I don't want to be around Keffels, moving on. Like, you don't have to give like some super in-depth cringe statement. You can just say that. But like, her argument is unironically, why would I ever acknowledge as someone that is close to me and that I associate myself with was sending homemade drugs to children, or rather funding a website that sent homemade drugs to children? Why would I ever acknowledge that? Would I rather spend time cringing at Ben Shapiro on live stream? My time is better spent there. Quiet part out loud. Yeah, I feel like these guys would be better off just not saying that. Like, you don't have to open your mouth in every scenario. If you're going to be like this, at least don't be enough to let yourself get clipped. I mean, I guess honesty is the best policy, but damn.
You guys can disagree, and I'm not saying that no one should ever do this, and I'm not saying that I think it's bad to do this. I'm saying I don't like to spend my time fighting with people who are saying that they're on the left.
The fact she'll openly say this just shows how brainwashed her audience is. Noah Samson is also guilty of this, as he'd go out of his way to accuse Think Before You Sleep of leading to Illumination's doxing. Yet only a month prior, he was called out for being publicly friends with a known doxer. This is Bad Empanada, another Breadtuber who, just like Noah, hates Vosh and Xanderhall. Emp invited Noah to be part of his charity stream, with Noah making a now deleted community post. He'd get some flack for this and not attend, with Emp mentioning this on the stream.
Yeah, someone in chat asked you about I haven't seen him. Ask about Noah.
I don't know a ton about this guy. I know he's in some kind of drama with Ethan Klein right now, but I honestly don't know a lot about this dude. I'm not super familiar with the lore.
What about Noah Samson?
Noah said that he can't come on. I'm not sure if he can't come on because he got like yelled at by Vosh fans, or because he just...
Does that not detract from your credibility to have groomers on your side? Is it not the criticism of the right? I mean, yes, of course it does, but like, if they have to acknowledge that, then it just makes them look really bad. Because the whole narrative from somebody who's a political extremist is like, our side is intrinsically good. Criticizing our side is intrinsically bad because you're fighting against the cause. When ultimately, like, you know, if you're part of a political movement, excising bad actors is probably a good thing in the long term now.
Actually can't come on, but it's one of those.
Damn.
The real reason is because he got called out by other leftists for supporting a known doxer who sent targeted harassment campaigns against his critics.
I'm not going to post your home address or phone number, Drew, but maybe the people who keep sending them to me, well, Jesus Christ.
This guy also has a history making pro 9/11 statements, and is allegedly a creep. One of the guys he doxed was someone he was trying to sue for alleging that he was a which there is evidence for, though it's nothing super concrete. But yeah, Noah has never made a public statement regarding empanada, though he left up a community post regarding unrelated criticism. These two are still following each other on Instagram, so this tells me that Noah doesn't give a shit about harassment or doxing, as long as someone he likes does it.
I mean, that's possible. I feel like him following someone on Instagram is not necessarily the greatest criticism of all time. Like, he could not like him and just not want to make a public statement about it to draw more attention to that guy. He could just, I mean, it's the opposite could be true, you know? It's possible with Noah Samsen, who knows, but following someone on Instagram isn't the strongest criticism of all time. I feel like it's not that big of a deal. I follow a lot of people on Instagram and Twitter that I don't even fucking know who they are. I just see they have big follower counts and I follow them back.
But, I mean, here's him initiating a targeted harassment campaign against Xander Hall.
Stop it. He'll probably complain about being clipped out of context, but I mean, the full video's there. It's a full video. You can watch the whole thing. Also, if you do go there, don't say anything mean, please. Just comment Squid Gang with 6 G's.
Yet he gives TBYS.
Is that encouraging targeted harassment? Hold on.
But, I mean,
campaign against Xander, as long as someone he likes does it. I mean, here's him initiating a targeted harassment campaign against Xander Hall.
Stop it. He'll probably complain about being clipped out of context, but I mean, the full video's there. It's a full video. You can watch the whole thing. Also, if you do go there, don't say anything mean, please. Just comment Squid Gang with 6 G's.
Yet he gives
I feel like the way that Rob is framing this is that, like, Noah is saying this in a facetious way to be subtle, but I feel like I don't know. I'm not. Maybe I'm not reading into things enough, but I feel like it's not that bad. It is a raid. Well, yeah, but some raids are more meaningful than others, right? Like commenting Squid Gang is that big of a deal? I feel like it's probably not.
TBYS shit for doing the exact opposite and discouraging his audience from leaving mean comments on Illy's video. Noah also ignored the fact that on multiple occasions, Illy sent her.
I guess the hypocrisy point is there from Rob. I would agree with that.
Fans to mass report TBYS's video, despite it being pretty tame and not being considered cyberbullying under YouTube's strict rules. He even downplays it by saying TBYS is just a crybaby for even considering this could lead to deplatforming. Oh, and speaking of crybabies,
that was really dumb. I will say it seemed like on the Horseshoe Theory podcast I listened to, Noah seemingly acknowledged that appeal to authority, and not even just the appeal to authority, but like saying that, you know, it's okay to mass flag TBYS's video was dumb. I feel like he did acknowledge that on the Horseshoe Theory podcast, so, you know, still kind of apprehensive towards, you know, quote unquote taking Noah's side, but he did seem to change his position on that at least, which is good. Can you please stop showing women on your stream as a gay man? It's very triggering. I am sorry. There might be a few more women in this video. Just cover your eyes or wear a hazmat suit.
5. The crybullies. Many of these creators make content poking fun at and criticizing others they dislike. Though what I've noticed is that when these guys get backlash themselves, they plead innocence and act the victim. This is so common that I literally have loads of examples. The first one I'll bring up being from Noah, who made a hit piece on Vosh and then debated him. Noah came across as spineless.
After this video, Bad Empanada made up false pedo allegations against Rob and admitted to doing so. Is that real? Smaggle. Or is that true? That's a big claim. That's a big claim there, Smaggle Daggle.
And couldn't properly debate against any of Vosh's points, and then took the video down.
Is this the link you're sending me?
To be willfully ignorant. I called out Noah's association of Bad Empanada because the guy is notorious for doxing and harassing his opponents. Empanada being a horrible person is pretty widely accepted. Even tankies hate the guy. In fact, Noah himself admitted 2 years ago that he thinks Empanada is a bad person. For context, this is from his Debate Bros video, where he shows a clip of Bad Empanada criticizing Vosh.
Did you really just cite Bad Empanada in your video? Looks like you've lost me. That guy is a bad person. Everybody knows that.
Me citing a clip of Bad Empanada saying something that's objectively true is not an endorsement of everything that he has done on the internet. Please stop being a fucking baby. Just look at the meme, okay? Look at the meme.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's really helpful for me, actually.
I was slowly swinging around your baby's crib so you can gently fall asleep.
Okay, thank you.
Now I do concur that agreeing with someone's take is not a direct endorsement. That's why I didn't show that clip in my last video. Because in that first video I showed a clip of Xander Hall criticizing Noah, and it's obvious that I don't endorse Xander Hall, because he's a moron. But now, Noah is defending Bad Empanada's actions, and claiming he needs better evidence that the guy is a terrible person.
Is he a known doxer, though? As far as I know, that's not true. I've never seen evidence of that, but I could be wrong about that. So let's see what Rob has to substantiate his claim that Bad Empanada is a known doxer. First up is a tweet exchange. It's Drew Pavlo says, Bad Empanada is now messaging me personally to threaten to post my home address and sue me for defamation. And then there's a quote tweet from Bad Empanada that says, I'm not going to post your home address or phone number, Drew, but maybe the people who keep sending them to me will. So first thing is that there's no screenshot provided here for the DMs that this person drew references of Bad Empanada supposedly.
Why even go out of your way to defend that? I don't get it. Like, I feel like the tweet is pretty self-explanatory. You don't even have to read between the lines. He's saying what he means.
Threatening to post his information. That would be doxing, and those DMs would be a threat of doxing, but you can't make that claim just because this guy said that it happened.
So here are those DMs where Bad Empanada threatens to dox Drew's family and shares a phone number. Luckily, this phone line was cut. Here's another tweet of Empanada threatening him. Here's him threatening to dox another person. And here's Empanada threatening someone and saying they should kill themselves. My question is, if no one knew 2 years ago that Bad Empanada is a bad person, what changed? What made Noah change his mind? Because Empanada never changed. In fact, just a week prior to Noah releasing this video, Empanada got banned on Twitter again for leaking Drew's phone number. It's obviously been taken down now, but there's still remnants of this tweet online with the original caption. Even if he got this off Google, that doesn't make things better. Do you think Sniperwolf got Jack's phone's address on the dark web?
No.
She got it off Google. She's still revealing personal information to harass someone she doesn't like. Bad Empanada isn't doing this to seek legal action like Noah later suggests. He's just being a dick. If he really was trying to seek legal action, he should just hire a private investigator instead of doing things publicly. Now this next part I'm going to assume Noah doesn't know about. After I released my original video, Empanada faked a tweet to make me look like a and he admitted it's fake.
Wait, what? Scoop, the YouTuber Rob's Media is he openly admitted on his Twitter account that he was about to be arrested for possession of CP. What? The feds are after me just for edgy stuff involving toddlers. Actually left on my hard drive. I'll probably be arrested soon. This feels surreal.
Video. Empanada faked a tweet to make me look like a and he admitted it's fake. As he had a Freudian slip moment in my comment section. Someone asked why Empanada would make that fake tweet, and he explained why without pushing back on it being called fake. He also admits here that the tweet is fake. His reasoning is because he claims I called him a even though I merely said that someone else was alleging he was, and I just stated that the evidence against him isn't concrete. Could I have worded it better? Probably. But I never called him a pedo. He used this as justification to send his fans to harass me, though he deleted all of this once he realized I wasn't going.
In fairness, I guess maybe it would have been good to leave that allegation out of the Rob video. Like, if you're not going to delve into it, I think that would be a fair criticism, but I feel like just slandering the guy in response is probably not good when that's not really what Rob did. Like, I feel like matching the energy there would probably be a good thing. I don't think that's crazy to say.
Down. He then put the video back up once the hate died down and made another. Ever since then, he's declined to do another debate, still mulling over how badly Vosh whooped his ass. Jeez, imagine losing a debate to someone who off to images of little girls. Now, with Jake Doolittle, he get loads of backlash on his H3 video, making an Instagram story after Ethan teased a new podcast episode. He'd use death threats to bait sympathy, as if every big YouTuber doesn't get them. Ethan was actually debating not covering Jake's video, but Jake still kept the video up until an hour into the podcast.
Oh, he just privated it. Well, it's too late, bro.
Oh,
Too
is
late.
it now?
That's true.
Damn. I heard about this and how much Jake Doolittle got blown out for it. I don't know all the ins and outs though, but I did see some of the clips and they seem pretty funny. It's pretty bad to be losing to Ethan Klein in 2024, bro. That's just not that's not a good situation to be in, especially when you're arguing from like a leftist perspective against him. I feel like that's pretty dark. That's pretty dark, bro. Poor fella. Almost feel bad for him.
It's too late, Jake. You had all 3 fucking weeks to do it, man. He's watching, I'm assuming.
Yeah, probably.
Jake, you had 3 weeks, and every comment on the video was like, this is a bad take. Social media, this is a bad take. Nobody was down with it. And it took him until now, for some reason, when I'm here actually defending myself. Like, bro, you have a public video up with like 125,000 views, and people that aren't familiar with me and my show can take away a really nasty impression of me. So, of course, I have every single right to come here and respond. And
I took it down. This is a really common thread I've seen a lot. Right now, it's you know, popular among a lot of these kinds of YouTubers, not Ethan, but the people he's responding to. But, you know, this has happened forever online, the sort of cry bully mentality. This is something Keffels did. It's something obviously Jake Doolittle did here. It's like, you know, you call out someone publicly, you shit on them on your public platform, right? And then when they respond, you throw a fucking hissy fit over it because you're like, I'm being attacked, I'm being shit on, I'm getting mean comments. And it's like, well, on one hand, do I think you should be harassed? No. Am I going to justify that? No. But at the same time, like, a lot of the quote-unquote harassment is being lumped as criticism, right? And realistically, if you make a public statement about someone and you get shit wrong, or you don't get shit wrong, and you're right, you're going to get backlash. Like, if you pick a fight with a large YouTuber and they respond, you're going to get backlash. It makes sense. Like, what do you expect? Like, it's more understandable from a random Twitter account, even though I would still make the argument that if you're on a public Twitter account or public YouTube account and you call someone out, it's okay for them to respond to you and you're going to get shit for it. But realistically speaking, you can't play victim after you publicly criticize someone. You just can't. If you call someone out, you have to expect that they might see it and respond. But these people want to just be able to say whatever they want about the larger creator and not get repercussions. Hey, Tom, been out of the loop. Have you gone over the situation between Mutahar and Nuxtaku? Not in depth, but I did talk about it a little bit earlier.
You just took it down now. It's not going to save you, brother. You might as well just bring it back up.
Public that shit. I recommend you watch this segment. It's 3 hours of Ethan satisfyingly destroying Jake. It took Jake over a week to make an apology, where he gives no context and says a bunch of cliche gobbledygook.
My intention was to stand up for a specific group of people, but instead I came across as an asshole. I didn't consider how my words would affect others, and for that I'm very sorry. I've also come to realize that no amount of explanation can undo the impact of that video, and so for the discomfort or hurt that it caused, I also apologize.
He'd take his original down, though I managed to archive.
You know, I feel like these apologies, there's like, I don't think there's any one formula of how to do a YouTube apology, but generally speaking, I think that the best way to do it if you're going to apologize is to, like, first of all, make it very clear what you're apologizing for, then make it clear why you fucked up and why you feel bad over it. And then also, you have to make sure not to play the victim or try to get too much sympathy on yourself. You don't want to make it seem like it's like a self-flagellation, like feel bad for me thing. I fucked up, but I'm like, so, like, you have to be very careful with it. But there are people who have made good public apologies. Like, honestly, I think that when Critical has made public apologies situations, generally he does a pretty good job when he fucks up a story. Like when he covered the Sniper Wolf thing and apologized for it, I think that was pretty good. Where he falsely claimed that Sniper Wolf had DMCA'd a YouTuber that she hadn't. That was pretty good. Another good public apology would be, honestly, Asmongold's response to the backlash he got for the comments he made about Palestinians. His apology was pretty good in general. He clearly explained why he said what he said, why it was wrong, how he moved away from that position, why he won't fuck up again in the future, how he's going to change. And he didn't demand sympathy from everyone or like play the victim, which is really important. You don't want to be playing the victim or make it seem like you don't actually feel bad for what you're doing, because part of the greatest pitfalls of apology videos is playing the victim. You don't want to be making it seem like you're a victim or like you don't deserve it. You want to be like, I deserve the backlash. I get it. It makes sense. I'm going to try to do better. Essentially needs to be the main bullet points.
I have it on my second channel. He then placed a copyright takedown request, which he did have the right to do, though it's obvious he did this because he wanted the drama that he started to go away. When he took his apology video down a month ago, the same thing happened. Though when he placed the takedown request, I noticed that he put it back up. Yes, this guy was going to...
I mean, technically he has a right, but generally I think that taking down archived content just makes it look like you're trying to hide it. And by taking it down, you ultimately, you know, the Streisand effect goes into effect where whatever you try to hide only gets more and more attention on it because people are like, why is he hiding this? What's going on here? And now it's in this big video by Rob's Media.
Quietly take it down, though when I caught it, he decided to undo that. What a coward, man. These guys always make the lousiest apologies, where they try to take responsibility for as little as possible, until that gets them more.
Where's your gooning apology? Well, I'll never apologize for that. Thank you, Crypt, for becoming a member. Appreciate it, bruh.
Hate. This happened with Zane, who made various tweets only apologizing for the most egregious points he made, like when he spread false threat claims made by Sneeko towards Brandon Buckingham.
He is friends with Brandon Buckingham, a gun YouTuber who has been accused of threatening.
Though he's stuck by many of the other claims made, like that Mutahar is transphobic for the Keffels thumbnail. Zane would then rant on Discord about the hate, effectively getting off social media after deleting the video. I find this funny because he was talking about how—
You're the guy in the Destiny video? My only response would be this. Hold on, wait. Wait, whoa, not the art! Hold, I didn't realize I was there. Fuck. Well, do you have that ready? Well, I just pulled up my Twitter because it was one of the last tweets I made, but I didn't realize that drawing was in the top reply. Damn. My bad. That was fire. That was literally like the Vosh, what? Literally.
How he was low on money since his videos barely get views anymore, and he hasn't uploaded in 3 months. Then we get to Nick, who should
Vosh style defense video when? Tomorrow.
Get the world record for making the most apologies to a single case of drama. There's at least 5 I can think of, with the most concrete being the one he uploaded in January. He finally fully admits to fucking up in regards to the super mega drama, and shows regret towards the other mean-spirited videos he's made. Remember, this guy spent months avoiding responsibility, and only made this as a last-ditch effort to regain some of his audience. After Nick's most recent apology, which he made on his 3rd channel, Ethan would go live on Twitch and get asked about it. He gets immediately angry, and basically pushes all the blame regarding the super mega controversy to Nick.
People were praising him for the vid. Yeah, annoying commentary watchers and liars were saying this is such a good video because you apologize to the guys that I like.
Once again, like, it's so reductive. Like, this is a good video because you apologize to the guys that I like. I don't think most of the people watching the super mega drama even cared about it. They just found it to be an interesting story. And they like to see that Nick is not green, who had clearly fucked up that story and misrepresented things, was acknowledging that he had done that and didn't want to do it again. I think that's obviously it. But it always has to be this like super black and white thing where I'm the victim and you're the evil guy who's victimizing me. That's always how it is.
And apologized for, you know, hurting their feelings, I guess. He literally apologized for playing the gif of fucking Matt Watson getting punched in the face. You're really apologizing for that? He's a apologist.
Well, he's apologizing because he doesn't think that Matt is that, obviously. I think that's the obvious response there, no?
Play it 10 times, 100 times. I can't be friends with people who are that, like, easy to fold.
He's just like that easy to fold when Nick made like multiple videos defending his position, defending Ethan, refusing to shit on him. And also to this day, he has refused to throw Ethan under the bus. It seems like only after Return of the Backlash happened. And on like seemingly, I think it was like a month after all the drama went down, he made his first video where he was like, hey guys, I actually messed it up. I did. Like the idea that he like folded so quickly is so dumb.
I can't trust people like that.
Ethan.
Making me defend Nick is not green here, all right?
That's you. Dude, remember the Alex Rosen video? When you got shit for that, you made a Twitter thread basically victimizing yourself, and whining about people jokingly calling you a pedo, yet you have a history of loosely calling others pedos.
They think that I'm mature enough to have a 9-year-old daughter.
And be a too, because you look like a...
So Ethan is just as
good argument, bro. Good stuff. Love to see it.
Spineless as Nick, but he has more of a fake tough guy persona, as seen anytime he DMs a creator he doesn't like.
Oh, this is awesome. What's up, bitch? Sounds like you have a lot to say about me online. You want to talk again? If not, get my dick out of your mouth and make some real content. That was awesome, dude. Sending tough guy DMs online is to like people who make drama videos about you is so fire. More people need to do that. That's like the best content in the world, honestly. I'm not even going to shit on anyone for doing that. Do it. It makes for great videos, dude.
Like, about a week after that Nick stream, Ethan would go live again, with Lex this time, where they'd basically get rated by lyrics. I was watching this live and had a bit of fun trolling them myself.
You and Vosh to date. What? Why would you say that?
Why would you say that?
He's a pet.
This is like me reading some kind of comment about how, comment about how I should like fat max or something, or how I need to start shit maxing after repeatedly talking about how I have a giant filled diaper for months on my streams. Why would you say that?
They basically get riled up at every little joke someone makes, acting as if they have the moral high ground while not realizing everyone is wasting their time.
Still think you should watch the Big Bungie.
This is literally me when I start a bit, when I don't shut the fuck up about a bit for months, and then I reap the consequences of that, right? Like me reaping is me making the joke, and then me sowing is me getting spammed with that for literally months afterwards and not being able to escape the bit. With so many things I say, I'm like, wow, this is like, right after I say it, I'm like, that's not funny. And then it tortures me for years, basically.
Video on you would wipe the slate clean with this chat. That video has fucking revenge in it. It is a deranged, like, fucking delusion made by a 4chan basement dweller. I'm not watching that. You're sick in the head if you think there's good critiques in it, and if you want to make the points, repeat them. Regurgitate like you do all these dumbass questions.
Based Bungie. My favorite YouTuber, Bazy Bungie.
It's so funny to see you seethe. Dude, you haven't made a single point. I hope you're proud.
Well, she's like me, dude.
Mama, 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 I'm just a baby. I'm a baby. I'm 4 months old and I make commentary videos. Ooh.
Dude, I think we're gonna be friends. I think we're actually gonna be buddies real soon.
I'm just a little boy. I'm 9. Do you like when I make commentary videos when I'm 9? Ooh, I'm 9 years old. Me when I'm 9 years old, calling out tards and chuds online. Ooh.
That's gonna get clipped. It's gonna be awesome. Sounds like a Muppet. True. I am a Muppet. I need to talk to a trusted adult.
I am a trusted adult. I'm 9.
Proud of yourself. But you haven't.
Yes, that's Lex's real laugh. She got that Kamala Harris hyena screech.
Oh my god, you're so stupid!
Is it? Wait, I'm
You are so
getting
fucking
gaslit.
stupid. Average intelligence of my haters, dude. Right here.
All
Doesn't even
these
know
losers in chat need to go get a fucking job.
Oh, it was the wrong word.
Y'all
I
are
focused
some
on
lame-ass limp blurp motherfuckers.
Instead of making a proper video debunking the hate he gets, he'd rather spend hours of his time debating random shitters. He'd end up privating this VOD, but archives do exist. Now lastly, I want to briefly cover—
Yeah, I mean, this is something that happens to every streamer from time to time. This happened to me, where I'll autistically argue with chat. And, you know, sometimes I do it because it's funny, but sometimes, to be honest, there have been times I've been genuinely fucking raging at chat because I'm like, how could you say something so fucking... But, yeah, generally speaking, I think that, I think that it is probably a bad idea to be fucking obsessed with whatever your haters are saying. Even if you think they're right, you know, or if you think they're wrong, it's generally a bad idea to become obsessed with it. You know, if you got to respond to the hate, respond, give your take. You know, maybe it's going to be a good take, maybe it's going to be a bad take, but like endlessly talking about it past that point, or like if you get raided, like acknowledging a raid, that's not going to make you look good. You know, the goal is to irritate you, right? That's ultimately the goal.
covered Vosh's defenders slowly leaving the internet, or at least trying to. You got Keffels, who deleted her last few YouTube videos, and has been silently streaming since May. Then she pretty much decided to leave the internet, after messages leaked of Xanderhall threatening to beat her and her orbiters to death, all because they have small personal disagreements, and the fact that Keffels was friendly with Shoe on Head in the past. It was also revealed that Xanderhall abused his editor and didn't pay them. Sticking by Keffels, even after the Muda video, was Tipster, a former commentary streamer who's married yet likes to hit on other women. He not only defended Keffels, but also defended Vosh's lolly obsession. He ended up removing all the videos on his channel after the backlash, but then put back up the videos he made after aligning himself with Breadtube. Finally, we get to Jalen, someone I've surprisingly never talked about on his channel. She's extensively a lolcow known for constantly getting themselves into drama, apologizing for it, threatening to leave the internet, and then coming back.
Does Jalen really... I mean, I guess Jalen maybe technically qualifies as a Breadtuber, but Jalen's more of just like schizo commentary, whatever. I don't even know what genre. Jalen's in like a world of their own. The most recent thing we saw with Jalen was that debate where they were like debating if trans kids should have hormones. And in the middle of it, they were just like, I just hurt myself. That was like, Jalen's just mentally ill, yeah. Jalen, I feel like, you know, as much as I don't like some of these people that are being talked about, lumping Jalen in with him, I would say, is like maybe a little far. Like Jalen is like final boss territory. Jalen's like in a different fucking realm of the internet.
Back after a day. This has become known as the Jalen cycle, usually starting with them picking beef on a commentary channel or calling a black guy the gamer word.
No one else should care.
I find it just really funny that they say on Twitter, yeah, all transphobic people are, and just being openly transphobic towards Ringo.
That's not being transphobic. I can make 41% jokes. Also, Ringo's also literally making the same jokes. Like, what the fuck you talking about, nigga? Like, what the fuck? Are you
Ooh.
Like,
you're not
fuck
black.
all
You're
of
not
you.
black. You're not black, Jalen. You're not allowed to say
To be
that.
fair,
You're not allowed to say that word. Are you
either.
racist? I am black.
Jesus,
I am
you're
black.
all
Actually.
hypocrites.
Yet Jalen will have a problem with people making trans jokes. She recently defended Vosh and Keffels, though the straw that found—
Well, even with Jalen, like Jalen is a frustrating person, but at this point, I hate the phrase punching down, but it really kind of with Jalen does feel like punching down because they're so crazy. Like they're so crazy that their hypocrisy couldn't even be understood. Like they wouldn't even be able to fucking understand why they are wrong. They have no self-awareness. They're fried. They're literally the definition of fried.
finally broke the camel's back was her downplaying the Ava Tyson situation, which finally got her to leave the internet and rename her channel to Inactive. Many breadtubers rely on flimsy arguments that can easily be debunked, and when they do get debunked, they throw a hissy fit about it and act innocent. If you're going to shit talk on the internet, be ready for others to shit
Oh, it was Tom Maxing here, look at that.
talk you. But many of these guys have no backbone and can't even take jokes. And that leads to my last point. 6. They're safe edgy.
I think definitely one phenomenon I've seen a lot from a lot of commentary channels is they've never experienced getting like backlash online before. So the first time they do get backlash, they basically have a mental breakdown. And like, you can say, you know, it's very easy to say like, oh, I have a thick skin, I'm unbothered. But when you're constantly saying shit like that and talking about how unbothered you are, generally you are probably pretty bothered, especially when you say it in an emotional tone. But there are a lot of commentary YouTubers, and these guys do fall into that definition to an extent. You know, they're bred to lefty commentary. They're still, you know, commentators in the general sense, right? Where what happens is they get a huge audience off of shitting on others, and at the first sign of backlash, their mental state crumbles, or they're unable to defend their positions. Like a lot of the time, I feel like, you know, not saying it's necessarily a good thing. It's good to respond if the criticism is valid, but a lot of these people would be better off just not responding or acknowledging the hate. But they have a very hard time not doing that. They have to give in.
Definitely the least important point, but it's something I've been wanting to talk about. I've noticed that many breadtubers are safe edgy, as in, they target their jokes and quips at certain people, yet will get backlash from their audience if they did it to others.
Well, once again, no bad tactics, just bad targets. You can make jokes, but the joke has to be at the expense of someone who deserves it. If you make a joke about a certain minority group, you can't do that. But if you make a joke about the cops and you say, oh, all cops should jokingly die, just a joke, that's fine. But if you make a joke about like a racial ethnic group, that's like completely off limits, right? That's how these guys work, basically. There's like two kinds of safe edgy. There's like quote unquote safe edgy on YouTube in like a general sense of like people who get bigger and become less crazy with their jokes because they realize like, you know, now I'm in a position where I need to make money. I kind of get that. But then there's the position where it's like, it's okay to be edgy if it's against the right guy or about the right topics, you know? Not all jokes are created equal is basically their position, which is very cringe.
This term began after a trend was noticed, the influx of memes poking fun of British and French people. Yet if you make jokes like this towards other people, especially those in non-white countries, you'll get shit on by breadtubers who will try to label you as problematic or something. Many of these guys don't even know what safe edgy is.
That being said, certain personalities do gravitate towards certain styles, like this safe sleazy kind of thing. First we had safe edgy, then safe horny, and now safe sleazy to finish the trifecta.
Why does he put a map of Europe for safe edgy? What does that mean? Wait, is that even Europe, or is it? Why is there a big gap there? Is this like Pangea or something? Am I tripping? What does this mean? Okay, looks like Germany's missing, and then some other stuff. France. So is that like the countries they invaded? Well, no, Germany invaded Poland, and it's still there. Look, someone help.
This part of the video should help you, Noah. Safe edgy is basically comedy that appears risque, yet would never actually get you into trouble for saying it. As said in the section about fake nice guys, these breadtubers only make fun of the appearances of straight men, or those who politically disagree with them. But, let's say, if they were to make fun of a trans person's appearance, they get eaten alive by their own audience. They basically trap themselves into a box they can't escape. He's not a breadtuber per se, but this sort of thing happened with Ethan Klein a few years ago. On the rare occasion he said something actually edgy, he'd get crucified for it. I mean, Jake Doolittle was part of that.
Yeah, I mean, Ethan was even on an arc, which I was criticizing him for a lot of the time. He was on an arc where he was like a reformed guy. You know, there's this one podcast clip where he's like talking to iDubbbz and Anissa, and he's like, you know, obviously back in the day we were a part of the broader commentary community and we were making a lot of edgy jokes, but obviously as we got older, we wanted to conduct ourselves a little differently. And it's like, okay, well, first of all, Ethan Klein, all right, hopefully you realize this. You and iDubbbz and most of your friends at the time making those jokes were not like 17 years old. You were all in your late 20s, if not early 30s. So the idea that you matured, I mean, you can mature at that age, but like the idea that you were just like some like hapless teenager who didn't get it is like so dumb. And on top of that, Ethan continued to make edgy jokes. It was just about people that he thought it was okay to make edgy jokes about. Like he stopped making edgy jokes about, I don't even know, trans people or something, or leftist people. And he started making edgy jokes about how you should bomb certain buildings, right? Or like making fun of Cutie Cinderella for crying on her stream about the Atrioc leaks. When it's like, you know, Jordan Peterson ultimately was right. Like you are going to be held to impossibly higher and higher standards when you do shit like that. You know, you're going to be eaten alive by your audience, which ultimately is happening a little bit to Ethan right now with this Assange stuff. They're eating him alive. When he lied about another YouTuber, Adam McIntyre, being creepy to his mom, mentally checked out of the videos is wacky now. Well, I don't know what situation you're talking about there. Adam McIntyre, that name rings a bell. That's from the what's her name, Ukulele Girl drama, right? I don't know a lot about whatever you're talking about, though.
That audience, and he got offended over some jokes Ethan made about chronic illnesses.
Few things. Leading up to this video, I was a huge fan of the H3 podcast. When I was at my sickest.
So, leading up to this, he was a huge fan.
Right.
The minute I brushed across something he cares about a little bit, brushed upon it, now he's done.
All bets are off.
I'm exposing him.
Too far.
Something that I really want to talk about with this topic is that safe edginess can exist on both sides of the political extremes. I mean, one side normalizes jokes about religion, white people, masculinity, while the other side normalizes jokes about racial and sexual identity. The opposing side will get offended by the other's jokes, yet will make equally edgy material.
Yeah, like Sneeko will like laugh about jokes about minorities, but he'll get like extremely offended if you joke about Muslims, right? That's ultimately his thing.
Material relating to what they deem socially acceptable. I think you should make jokes about any of this, as long as it's a joke. You can't be talking about why America deserves 9/11 unironically and present that as a joke, because there's no punchline.
America deserved 9/11. I can't disavow facts, man. I can't disavow reality. That's not how that works, bro. Like,
even ironically, it's not funny because there's nothing else to the joke. That's why Shane Dawson's old comedy isn't funny. There's nothing to the joke besides doing something edgy. Even ignoring the safe edgy problem, I still wouldn't find these guys funny. Much of their humor comes from them being snarky or passive aggressive, which only works if you're likable. If you've been paying attention to this video, you'll notice that these guys are the opposite.
Back in the day, I did find a lot of those Shane Dawson videos funny. I wasn't like a huge fan, but I definitely watched some of them with Shaniqua, and I was like laughing my ass off as a fucking 9-year-old for sure, or maybe 10, 11, however old I was. I thought it was funny, bro. I did.
Instead of likable. They seem pretentious and all-knowing, never being able to make fun of themselves and have self-awareness. I mean, at the slightest joke at their expense, they get furious. I mean, here's Nick, making multiple different tweets, raging over the most tame TikTok comment in existence. Though there is one Breadtuber I do find funny, Ryan Beard.
Okay.
I mentioned Ryan
What's up with Ryan Beard? Why is Ryan Beard the GOAT?
Beard at the end there because for the past 8 months, I've noticed this fair criticism of many of the other Breadtubers in this video. Now, I'm not a big fan of Ryan. In fact, I disagree with a few of his takes. Though at the end of the day, that's bound to happen. Not everyone is going to have the same thought process as you. What really matters is your ability to argue for what you stand for. I appreciate Ryan now because he's the only Breadtuber I've seen actively call out the rash and improper behavior of his peers. In pretty respectable ways, mind you.
This guy was even in my chat not that long ago. I think I was having a conversation with Nick Diorio, and he was in my chat. I honestly don't remember. I feel like I hated him at some point. Maybe my memory is kind of fucked up on YouTube drama stuff. Like, I don't remember a lot of the shit I cover like 6 months later, but I feel like I didn't like him at one point, but I don't remember why. Maybe I just didn't like his face or something. I don't know. There was some reason.
I first noticed this with Jake Doolittle's H3 hit piece, as Ryan left a constructive comment explaining why the video was bad. Jake, being a pouty child.
What do you say?
As Ryan left.
From what I can see, it seems like Ethan is a hypochondriac and he's using humor to cope with his hypochondria. I also suffer from hypochondria, and it would really suck to have someone make a video like this attacking me if I vented about my health anxiety on the internet. All of your criticisms that Ethan doesn't know what he's talking about are common with health anxiety. You spend hours scouring the internet for possible diagnoses and come to irrational conclusions about your health. That's why health anxiety is classified as a mental disorder.
A constructive comment explaining why the video was bad. Jake.
I agree with you that sometimes people can accidentally cause harm while venting about their health anxiety, but it doesn't seem like you're showing any empathy or consideration for the very real distress that health anxiety can cause. I understand you have a history of chronic illness, but if you don't have a history with health anxiety, it's unlikely you can truly empathize with what Ethan's going through, which I think is causing you to have a very biased take on what Ethan is experiencing and assuming bad intentions when it doesn't seem to me like Ethan has any malicious intent. In the future, I recommend trying to have a much more nuanced approach when discussing people experiencing health anxiety. I mean, that's a pretty good comment here from Mr. Beard, from Ryan Beard.
Being a pouty child, deleted this comment and many others. Ryan would also call out Noah Samson for working with bad empanada, seeing him as a bad look. Then he'd criticize Keffels for trying to accuse Muda of being transphobic. When Gokunaru was discussing Zane's Wendigoon video, Ryan would show up in chat and rightfully criticize the guy, strangely agreeing with a Cheeto, which I thought could never happen.
See, this is the...
Well, I mean, it seems to me like Ryan Beard is someone that's willing to, look past partisan politics and acknowledge, fucked up shit on both sides, which is nice.
The goated nature of a Gokunaru stream. We can have Ryan Beard and a Cheeto in the same stream chat. Do you understand how universal this little experience is? It's like a cultural exchange, bro.
During Ethan's livestream meltdown, Ryan would chat on Lyric's stream.
Yo, what is this alliance? Is this Mr. Beard? Dude, it's Ryan Beard. Ethan needs to log off. He's clearly spiraling, but doesn't What happened? Wait, did something happen to Ryan? Is this the real Ryan Beard? What happened to Ryan Beard? This is the last time I've seen him. Ethan needs to log off. He's clearly spiraling, but doesn't realize it.
Why did I hate Ryan Beard? Why did I not? Did he make some bad video? I honestly don't remember what. I gotta like figure this out. Tom Dark, Ryan Beard, Mr. Beard. Oh, fuck. Back in the day, didn't he said that I was a fascist or fat phobic or something because I made fun of Ethan Klein's fat photo, or I just posted a picture of him being fat. Was that it? I think that might have been it. Turkey Tom, fat phobic. Yeah,
there's been a lot of talk about weight on Twitter recently, Mood. I think you saw it maybe a little bit.
I did, in fact, see this one degenerate fascist Twitter account. Go ahead with all the DMs you've been receiving, but I'm sure it's been a wild adventure for you on the internet.
Well, thankfully, no DMs because my DMs are closed. No one can.
And I probably weighed like fucking 40 pounds less here. Crazy.
Message me unless I message them. But lots of tweets. For those watching who may not know what's going on, I tweeted this picture of Ethan Klein. And he's sort of reclining, and you can see he's rather girthy. He's got some gut to him. He's got some weight to him. He's gained some weight.
He's what the boys call thick.
He is thick. He's certainly thicker than he's been in the past. And so I tweeted out this picture, no caption, no context, just to see what would happen. Yeah, well, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. I think Ryan Beard is one of the people that was calling me out for that. I think it was him. I think that's why I have some kind of negative association with him. But if he's coming around, fair enough.
I'm going to engage with him the way he wanted me to. He also sent me this DM calling me a child. So that was nice of him. Noah, please stop defending this guy. If you like his...
Crazy.
Is it him and Lex suck though, so whatever? Did somebody hack his account? Or have I just completely been out of the loop on Mr. Beard? Mr. Beard. Ryan Beard. Him and Lex suck though, whatever? What happened? I thought this guy was completely on like the super mega train. Maybe I just completely haven't been familiar with him. But this is dude, this is awesome chat message right here. He's clearly spiraling. I thought he was friends with this guy. Dude, shout out to Ryan Beard. W. Him and Lex suck. Dude, let's fucking go. I'm not friends with Ethan anymore after he justified anti-Semitism and told me I was victim blaming when I got mad at Lex for lying about Nick is not green.
Need a content warning for Nux. Lol.
Dude, let's fucking go. Dude, Ryan Beard is fucking spitting flames in the chat right now. I'm still just as much of a leftist, but Ethan makes other leftists look like freaks when he releases terrible videos, like the Alex Rosen one, so
Ryan Beard's still an ass name. I mean, that might just be his name. I could be wrong, but that might just be his name. Beard is a crazy last name, though. They should call you Touch Me Tom. Good point.
No desire to associate with him. Dude, based Ryan Beard. Hey man, I'll see you later, Ryan Beard. Don't worry though, if Ethan calls you a pedo, that just means that he wants you to get free therapy. Lol. Alright, I need to stop. See you guys later. Have a good one, man.
This is why I'm starting to like Ryan. Even if you disagree with something he said, this guy has, morals. He has morals that he stands by and can actually interact positively with those who differ from him. In other words, he is actually a mature adult. And honestly, not all Breadtubers are bad. Some of the others I failed to mention are just people I disagree with. You can criticize them for that, but they're not awful people. But like Ryan said, there are those like Ethan or couples that make them look bad, and the others on the side of the internet do a bad job at weeding them out. A lot of them are quiet on these topics, which only lets this madness continue for years to come. Even though many of the individuals...
You showed his photo of him in a diaper with wood chips in his mouth? Oh, I forgot that! Yes, I forgot that. That was a crazy picture. Oh, he did some video where he was sitting on a playground in a diaper with wood chips. Yeah, I forgot that. Looking back, that was actually awesome. I support that. I feel bad for making fun of it. That guy, that's like me. He was on the diaper maxing thing before I was.
Those I've discussed have had their reputations destroyed. They'll still try crawling back to regain relevance while acting like victims. They're just like the people they hate. Spineless cowards that only care about their own reputation and the reputation of their political team, not realizing that they're doing harm to that team. Last thing I want to mention here is that Ryan is actually really funny. He can take risks with his comedy and is willing to embarrass himself for it. That alone earned my respect. It's not easy to do that, and it results in some pretty entertaining content. Him filming a parody of Santa May's apology is goated. Maybe this is what Nick should do for his 15th apology video. Anyways, I hope you guys really enjoyed this.
That video looked crazy. Yeah, I think that, there were a lot of good points made in this video. There were a few overgeneralizations and things I disagree with, but overall, it was interesting to take a look through, I feel like a lot of the stuff is stuff I've covered over the past year of YouTube commentary videos on the Tom Dark channel, so it was interesting to see it like all compiled into one kind of succinct video, and I think it ultimately did communicate a lot of the conceptions around Breadtubers and why people hate them, which is good. It's good. Turkey tongue? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? All right, on that note, I know a lot of people in chat seem to be aware of the fact that this is the case. But yes, we're getting to the end here. Next stream is going to be on Saturday on this channel. So that'll be when I do more stream stuff. But memberships are now turned on this channel, so if you want to get the stream VODs for when I stream on this channel, they'll be here. I'll be updating the situation for members pretty soon. On the Tom Dark channel, but you know, we are transitioning away from streaming over there, and we're going to be streaming over here eventually full time. But yeah, we'll be getting into all of it. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you liked it. Be sure to leave a like. Watch all the clipped videos. New Turkey Tom video coming out tomorrow or the next day, but probably tomorrow. I'm going to try my best. After this stream, I'm literally going to rush to get it done. So hopefully it'll be out tomorrow. And yeah, thanks for watching. Take it easy. Bye bye.